Tuesday afternoon. No, no. Okay, maybe it doesn't. Maybe I should just stick with our house band, the Dead Campers, and Huck to Flat right here. Make sure you check them out on Spotify. And rock on with it. The Moody Blues. Matt's already contributing to the show, and he's not even on yet. Welcome to the Random Christian Show. I am Christian Random, with a special co-host for a little bit, my lovely wife, Lois Random, and it's what we go with, babe. I'm sorry. We will have Matt and Andy on here as per usual, and we have our special guest today, Miss Bekah George from Sheer Vision Coaching. She is a life and wellness coach, so we're going to talk all things wellness and life and life and life wells. It gets pretty deep because it's a well. Sometimes I'm more awesome than I think. Anyway, we want to give special thanks out to Consolidated Skateboards, our official, unofficial sponsor. In fact, I even made a little headline for him here somewhere. There. Boom. There. Official, unofficial sponsor, Consolidated Skateboards. All your skateboard deck, wheels, trucks, shirts like what I'm wearing here, and many, many more. Plenty of graphics from them. And don't forget the you can't see it, but consolidated blankets, which are muy comfortable. Comfortable, very comfortable. And fall is right around the corner. In winter, they are nice, heavy, and fuzzy and warm. And don't forget those banana chuck shoes. They are very, very extremely comfortable. Great skate shoes. So I just want to say thanks again to Consolidated Skateboards. Make sure you check them out on the web right there at consolidatedskateboards.com or on Instagram at Consolidated Skateboards. All right, guys, real quickly, coming up on the show next week, we're going to have Stipe Lazina. He is an author, does a lot of stuff based off of actual history and stuff like that. So it's a fiction based on true history kind of thing. So it's very, very interesting. Some of the books get a little dark, but they all have a very positive message in them either way. So make sure you tune in next week also at 4 o'clock for our live show, live streaming. Don't forget, we are on all the podcast sites. So if you're interested, you can listen anytime, anywhere. Apple, Google, Spotify, Bullhorn, Podbean, Good Pods, where it's wherever you can pretty much listen to a podcast, we're on it. But anyway, so also little teaser here, because I know a lot of us out there listen to ska music. We may have the band. They are out touring right now. Save Ferris, Monique Powell and the boys. They might be joining us. We are working on that. So just a little heads up. Also, John Feldman from Goldfinger, personal friend of mine. We're trying to coordinate some scheduling with him to get him on the show as well and talk all sorts of music and producing biz. I mean, he's been so busy with a lot of these younger, some pop stars and stuff like that. So going to be very cool if we can get it scheduled with them. So please keep tuning in. And if you enjoy what you are watching, hey, hit up our website, therandomchristianshow.com. We've got a Patreon site there. We also have a Spring Tea link in there so you can buy random stuff. We've got mugs and shirts and all that. Is that a band I should know? Maybe. Becca's asking questions from the green room about the bands we're listening to. But yeah, so we've got Linktree. But if you like the show and you want to help us out, contribute a little bit. And like I said, we have our Sunday planning show, which you can be a part of for a small donation and help plan out the next week's show. We do that every Sunday, but in the meantime, throw us a little money our way. Help us out. Help us get a little more out there, as we shall say. So, speaking of out there, You know where we're going, right? Matthew, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, Chris and Lois. How are you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
I am fantastic. And Tuesday afternoon, the song is actually Forever
Tuesday.
Afternoon, and then in parentheses, Tuesday. By,
Right.
The Moody Blues. And
okay.
That's why.
While I was here and I pulled the record out, I was like, oh, hey, you know what? I have some...
Matt actually has it on vinyl. Well played, my man. Well played. Very well
there
done.
We go.
Well, and speaking of Tuesday afternoon and being out there, that brings in Andy. Well,
why am I so small? What's going on? I don't understand. Why am I so small?
Because
Andy.
I thought you were thinking of Easy Like Sunday Morning by Faith No More. Well, yeah. I remember the Faith No More version. So
anyway. Yes, Bekah. Bekah forgot to put her headphones on. She couldn't understand why she couldn't hear us.
Oh, that's funny. That's good.
So, and yeah, like I said, guys, Bekah George from Sheer Vision Coaching is going to be on, our life coach and wellness coach. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But right now, we are going to do the bit we tried to do a couple of weeks ago, which would be our random news. And I didn't have my music sounder.
Yeah, you needed a news sounder there.
Yeah. Well,
let's head to the booth and go. Let's head to the booth and go live with Lois right now.
Yeah, I was gonna play that soundbite, huh?
Yeah, we need the
yes.
need the old timey news voice. Yeah, that's all we need, I think.
No,
let's go right now. Let's go to the booth and go live with Lois, everybody.
We're going live right now to Lois.
And so, yeah, what's going to happen is Lois is going to be reading us random headlines from around the world. And basically, we're going to give our 2-bit opinion of them. So, my lovely wife, the floor is yours. Okay, I need you to speak a little closer.
Okay. I'm good. I can't see it.
And loudly.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Can you hear her? Oh, wait a minute.
Help if I'm on.
Maybe if I took
we go.
Now I can hear her even better.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
First one is 2 New Zealand gang associates were arrested after trying to smuggle a car full of KFC chicken, French fries, and 10 tubs of coleslaw during lockdown.
Smuggling where? Does this mean
desperate for?
This is in New Zealand. Anything goes in New Zealand.
So they were smuggling it during lockdown. But then, why was KFC open?
KFC?
But places were open during lockdown. Is it illegal in some places in New Zealand to have KFC?
This could be.
Is it
that polarized in New Zealand that you just can't?
I don't know. They were trying to cross the Auckland border with a car full of Kentucky Fried Chicken, French fries, and 10 tubs of coleslaw.
Oh, so it's kind of like illegal aliens. They were smuggling Kentucky Fried Chicken in. It's contraband.
So is that like bringing fruit into another state?
I guess.
Yeah. Which there's so many California jokes going on right now in my head. Right. It's not even funny.
I mean, was it a slow day for the cop or something?
I guess.
Can I imagine the call into a superior saying, I have a supposed KFC.
Listen, Chief, let me tell you what we got going on down here, right?
Okay, I will elaborate more. Auckland officials are enforcing strict travel restrictions amid a citywide lockdown following a surge in COVID-19 cases. With restaurants closed, residents who break travel rules to purchase fast food outside the city risk fines up to $8,400 or 6 months of jail time.
Are you kidding me?
Now, wait a minute.
$8,400 for a bucket of chicken.
Wasn't there news that New Zealand all but eliminated COVID?
I thought they were like COVID free.
And they've just been like partying in the streets without anything?
With apparently Kentucky Fried Chicken.
They did have that lockdown that is why they managed to.
But this is a recent story, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, this is from today's headlines.
Aha!
Oh wow!
They've been lying to us,
dude. They're probably the whole reason we have COVID. Besides
those Kiwis,
China,
man. I tell you, those Kiwis,
dude. And you know what? That's why I don't eat kiwis. Just saying. Oh, you're talking about the people.
All right. But can you imagine? Can you also imagine being in lockdown?
I wonder if the kiwis are the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Actually,
no.
Well, they are open now. I just was reading through there.
Oh,
and
can you imagine though being in lockdown and somebody asks what you're in for, and you have to say,
"What they bring you in for, mate?" Well, I killed like 3 people. Ran over a couple kangaroos.
Come on,
Yeah, right.
That's all right.
And why 10 things of coleslaw? Why was that the magic number?
Well,
that's what I want to know.
If you're in lockdown, you're keeping food for a while. Then
that's 2 for each day.
I mean, come on.
They must love their coleslaw down there,
right?
Because it doesn't keep well.
Or they're making the run for the rest of the town.
Yeah, they're not just for them. They
selling it on the black
coleslaw
market.
Is bomb too.
Man.
I mean, come on now.
That is a great. That was a good pull. That
was like the first thing she pulled up. I'm like, oh my god, that's awesome.
I'm looking for more.
Okay. Here, what do you got there?
Not a whole lot.
Wow,
it's
your
news
really
slow,
sucks.
Weird news day, I guess.
There. That one. I like that one. Why not?
What, really?
Yeah.
I was just trying not to be too political.
Who cares?
Oh, this one I saw earlier.
This is
today.
the Random Christian Show. We go all
Mother
over.
and daughter arrested for murder after allegedly performing illegal plastic surgery at home.
What? Dude, how desperate do you got to be
and
be
you
performing?
know what kind they were performing?
Oh, I bet it was.
Hold on, can I guess?
Implants.
Can we take votes and find out?
Okay,
Chris,
Matt,
do you know what it is?
Matt, go ahead. I didn't look at it now.
It's the butt cheek implants. I bet. Everyone's always all about that. People die every time they get them.
Brazilian butt lifts.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
butt implants. Butt implants. That's what it's.
I'm gonna say lip. I'm gonna say lip injections.
Becca's like butt cheek for sure.
Yeah.
Well done, Bekah.
Yeah,
we should just bring her in.
We should just bring
her in.
Becca, you want to come in?
Bring Bekah in.
See, I didn't even I was queuing up her music.
You have it ready, don't you?
No, I was in the process of doing. That's why I wasn't paying attention to the news.
Well,
You're ruining the show.
Join in on this, and then when you introduce her for real,
then you bring her.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we are witnessing super history.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to the world Miss Bekah George, or the random world, Miss Bekah George, life and wellness coach. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Nice.
Welcome, Bekah.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
I had to get in on the action with the butt cheeks for sure.
Yeah.
Right, Matt nailed it right off the bat. I mean,
Bekah, yes, it's butt cheeks.
Anytime anyone dies from home plastic surgery, it's someone getting their butts injected with something.
Okay.
Like
how do you know this, Matt? This is
I watched the news, my friend.
Oh, that's the ABC News for you right there.
No, actually, I haven't watched the news in years, but that's something that goes back to like way too long. Way too long.
Matt, Andy, guess what I forgot to do?
What?
Chat.
Hey.
Matt nailed it.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bust you on it, but
I don't know if anybody. No, nobody's really.
I was going to wait till we were done with the news.
I was going to say, we should wait till after the news.
Okay, yeah. And if someone actually chats, then we can bring it in. But until someone does,
we'll pay attention then.
All right. So I'm going to say lip injections just to be different.
But
you'd be wrong, Andy.
You'd be wrong because it was butt cheek implants.
Oh, we already said it. Did I not listening? Was I not?
That's what I was saying. Matt's a real kiss ass because he figured it out. Get it?
Or rim shot, boom.
Or he's cheeky.
Sorry, I'm on.
Oh, well done. All right, nice pull, Andy. Yeah, I'm far more polite than mine. So, All right. Well, yeah. Why? What is that all about?
And it wasn't the first time she went. It was her
What?
third visit
To the house?
to the house.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean,
And
how
what are they
big
using?
do you need your butt to be?
Yes.
Because I could seriously say, you know what? I'm rocking.
Just
Was
stop.
she not happy after the first two and like needed
Touch up?
something finished? You know?
Yeah.
Was there a little pocket they forgot or something? So
Right,
her
yeah.
ass has this huge dimple in it or
It
something.
was her third visit.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
that is.
Oh, which means she needed to go one more time. I bet each cheek was.
Right, yeah. Yeah, we do it in sections. And then the fourth.
So she died before she got the actual procedure actually done. Huh?
Thankfully.
Fully done.
Oh
Fully
my
done.
goodness.
That's awesome.
Oh.
There's some things you just don't skip on, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
you know, that's
Go
so
to a
tough.
licensed butt implanter.
Yes.
What was the lasagna thing?
The lasagna?
I don't know. I just saw lasagna and it kind of intrigued me.
Somebody named Jesse James Decker shows off her incredibly toned legs while cooking lasagna on Instagram.
This is news?
That
I guess so.
are you saying that as is this really news or this is
What's her
no,
Instagram handle? I need to follow her.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
And
Matt's
you know
gonna
what?
Google it for us.
Honestly, Matt's
That's-
just going there for the lasagna. You know he's just going there for the
that's
lasagna.
how
He doesn't
why,
care about the legs.
Pan up, pan up.
Right? Yeah.
Check out that.
What's
sweet,
the
layers
ricotta to
of-
meat ratio? You know, that's what Matt's going for. He wants the recipe.
Oh,
That's
baby,
what
more
Why
sauce,
does it-
more sauce.
Why does it,
God. Wow, this really
I'm sorry,
became the
I'm sorry.
Random Christian Show after dark at this point.
what's the newsworthiness of like, is she famous? Is
I
she
guess.
I
I don't know who she
Instagram
is.
famous? Does it matter that she's showing her legs
Matt.
off?
Can you Google her?
Jesse James Decker.
Jesse
Matt's our-
James
our resident
Decker.
Googler.
Matt's in charge of the Google, so or the Goog as we call it here, Becca, by the way.
Okay.
It's not Google, it's Goog. That's how the cool
Goog.
kids call it.
The
Okay.
We started that, by the way. We're getting a trademark. We're getting a trademark on Google to be the Goog. And then we're
I
gonna
mean, is
start
the
making all
news
of
that
the-
she can eat the lasagna and keep the good-looking legs?
Well,
Like,
that's
is that
what I'm
the
trying
news?
to figure out. Or are they eating the lasagna off her legs?
She might be an American country pop singer songwriter, former reality television personality, and
here we go.
entrepreneur.
My 15 minutes of fame ran out 14 minutes ago, so now I'm on Instagram cooking lasagna and showing my legs on it.
Basically.
Yeah, basically.
Anything to get a follow, you know?
She has
I
a
mean,
whole
it works.
Oh
website,
gosh,
so-
yes. Okay. Hold
Let
on.
me look at it.
This one's pulling up.
Okay.
still.
Let's-
And I'm sorry, I'm still trying to get your cue up music going because I keep getting distracted.
Queuing up your second intro music.
Well, you know,
It's my fault. I got excited.
it
Her
is.
official
And
intro.
you know,
But no, I mean, this is perfect. She's a life and wellness coach, so the ass
Right.
implants were kind of going
I mean,
with
do
it.
you?
I mean, I'm
It's fine.
sorry.
It's
but-
fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
like Becca, would you recommend to a client to, hey, you should show off your legs while cooking on Instagram?
I would
That
not.
might-
Yeah.
Okay.
She's
I
like,
wanna make sure
no.
I would not. No.
You've heard it here on the Random Christian
bad.
Show. That is not
No.
good life advice, right
I
there.
would not.
Not a good move.
Although I did recently, a little while ago, have a life coach that I fired because he told me that my photos that I put out on my Instagram did not look sexy enough. Was his exact quotations.
Oh,
he said,
Wow.
he
Wow.
said, you look too much like a mom. You need to look a little sexier. I was like, I'm going to fire you. Have a great day.
There you go. Smart
Whoa.
move. Good
Fire
move.
is
That,
Are you-
yeah,
Good move.
that's
That-
awful.
That just happened.
Yeah,
That
it
is
happened a few
horrible.
months ago. He said you, and then he told me, like, in the same breath, you will find clients. You will have people who come to you because you're pretty. He said, but you need to lose some weight because no one will come to you if you're a little too chunky. That was his response.
Wow.
So in the same statement, and I was like, I'm gonna need you to never speak to me again. Thanks so much. Like,
Good move. Good move.
out of in the same
Wow.
thing. Yeah, he was like, He's like, you need to show a little cleavage to get some clients, and you need to lose some weight. Those are the two like things he said in the same one. And I paid a lot of money for this guy too. I was like, this is what you're telling me. Oh, and then he said, the good news is if you get down to your goal weight, which he told me my BMI should be, he tells me, he's a doctor. Okay.
Right.
If you get down to where you want to be, which he tells me should be 120 pounds, which is insane for my 5'9" frame. He tells me if you get down to 120 pounds, I will fly out to where you are and take you on a date.
Whoa, what a jerk.
That's, and you know what, buddy? Reverse those charges.
Dude, okay.
Reverse those charges. Come on now.
Okay, hold on. Okay,
like
what was this guy for again? Hold on, Matt. Matt.
No, I would not.
What was this guy for?
He was a coach, like a business coach of mine, because I just started my
he's
business.
So
it was a business coach, yeah.
And so he tells you not only to lose weight, but to show cleavage and to doll yourself up to help sell your life and wellness coaching.
Yes, but in the same breath, he told me, like, no one's going to come to you because you look undisciplined, because you're chubby. So you need to get down to where you want to be. And then when you do, I will fly out to where you live and I will take you on a date. That will be How did
you find this guy?
He was very well recommended online. He had a high,
so
I found him online. Yeah, Google.
Well, were the recommendations more from males or from females?
I don't know. I just went. I just went based on what I saw online.
Sure,
that was it. But But he also asked for a recommendation after the first time I met with him. So I met with him the first time. He asked me for a recommendation, and I was like, "Well, that's weird. I've met with you once." I gave him a great recommendation after the first time. Then the second time was when he did all that stuff, and I was like, "Hey, I feel bamboozled."
Yeah, right. Yeah,
but it's fine.
I want to know his name. I want his name out there so that way people.
No, I don't want to do that. I'm not that person. I don't want to.
Well, you know what? You can tell us when we're not live, and then we'll go to his house.
Yeah, then we'll blast him. How's that?
Well, so
we're gonna like prank phone call him on the air.
Which coast is he on?
Hi,
how are you?
He was West Coast. He was out in Cali.
Oh, I'll go egg his house.
See,
wait, no. I have it.
I have eggs.
What?
We need to get Patsy to catfish this guy.
Patsy was on. She was on Patsy's show.
Yeah. So we need to get Patsy to catfish this guy.
Oh yeah.
Patsy Ann.
Just have a chat with Patsy.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. Oh, we got to do it with Patsy online. Well, during the show.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. All right. We have a plan.
Andy, that is a beautiful idea.
He's very, very well known in my circle, so I don't want to get on his bad side.
No, we have nothing to do with you.
No, we'll keep your name. We'll keep your name as far from this as possible.
Yeah.
Remember, it's the Random Christian Show. Right. We don't know exactly who we are. We're anonymous. We're like the dark web. Nobody can really find us.
But I'm just saying, if somebody came to me and said, "Hey, should I show my naked legs with some lasagna?" I'd be like, "Not a great life choice."
Right. Yeah.
But there are some coaches out there, this one, who might be like, "Hey, if you have some nice looking legs, you should show them off." You know what I'm saying? You got some
I get
cleavage,
it.
Show it. You know.
God.
Hey, whatever it takes to sell,
whatever it takes to sell. You know, I cannot do that. I'm a Christian coach, so I'm not supposed to do that. Jesus would not like me showing my boobs to get some cleavage, or to get some people. But
that's what I'm talking about. That's it. But that's not what life and wellness coaching is about, anyway. So which we're going to get into eventually.
Yes.
But okay,
did you want to do this one last?
But let's do one more.
We're gonna do one more. Yeah, let's do. And welcome to the random news bit. And welcome to Rebecca. Welcome to the random world.
Yeah.
Okay. Death is sexier than sex, according to Ann Coulter.
Well, yeah, I bet.
I don't know who she is.
And Ann Coulter didn't she write what? Look at Andy's like, wait. Uh-oh. Andy's lost it. What? Andy?
What?
I'm guessing she's doing it wrong. That's all. That's all.
That's all.
That's all. There's coaching for that, I'm sure. right?
Right.
Right, Becca? Look
Yeah.
at Becca's like, yeah,
Yes.
not
We
might-
mine, but yes.
No.
Apparently we know a guy
No.
that can do that.
No.
Wait,
Ugh.
who is Ann Coulter?
She is.
She's a
She's a
media
writer, right?
Actress,
Uh,
author,
Oh, yeah.
media
guest
type.
blogger.
Guest blogger.
Yeah.
So she just shows up on people's blogs.
I'll just
Hey,
read.
by the way,
I'll just
I'm
read the
doing
first
their
sentence of her.
She's a pretty conservative
Yeah.
Republican pundit
Okay, hold on. Let's
type person.
She says-
and
hold on, Matt.
Okay,
Sex is sort of losing its appeal. Death is sexier these days. At least that's the impression I get from Ann Coulter, who makes a living calling for the killing of liberals and repressing the free speech of Democrats.
So,
okay, hold
all
on.
right, that's
Wow.
a roach too, then. But whatever.
well,
All
it's not
right.
convenient.
So
Well,
what's
Ann
the,
Coulter doesn't want to have her naughty parts going all over the place. She just says, kill them all.
so
yeah.
who? What's the source of this article and who wrote it?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, how
The-
biased is
This may be
one?
coming from National Lampoon.
The
so.
Brad blog.
The Brad blog?
Oh, the very reputable news
I
source.
was going to
the
say,
Brad
wait a
blog.
minute. Maybe we really need to double check.
This like that seems like one of the most clickbaity titles of a story that has zero to do with sex and literally just to get people in the door.
Yep.
And everything to do with death, like the death of this show. For
You asked.
I know.
I delivered.
Yeah.
You know, no,
That's why I
perfect.
love her.
That's really
This is
good.
why I love her so much.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hey Tim. Hey Corey. How are you guys?
Oh, we got
We have
people
chats.
joining in.
Yes.
Yes, excellent. All right, well,
Wow.
let me enable the chat while we're talking. So,
Kabuki.
Mr. Melia, Mr. Corey Hall, how are you, gentlemen?
Wow.
Thank you very much for joining in. All right, guys. Well, here we go. There's the chat. We're going to enable that. And how about a nice round of applause for my lovely wife, Lois, for the random
Lois,
news bits.
well done.
Headline.
Thank you.
All right. And we will
Yeah.
we'll do this again a little more planned out better, but yeah, we'll do it again. I like it.
Not a bad first run though.
No,
really not a bad
definitely
first
not.
run.
Way better than our last first run because
Yeah,
that
and
was...
I am really going to think twice about bringing KFC over state lines now.
and
Expensive
coleslaw.
chicken. Yeah.
Right.
Dude, $8,400. You know what? It's
Not
kiwi.
worth it.
It's not chicken.
Worth it. Yeah.
They're
Come
frying
on,
the
man,
state
it's
bird.
KFC, it's not worth it, man. Not
Totally.
Churches, maybe. Or no, what's the one we like? Oh,
no
Popeyes.
chicken.
Popeyes. Yeah,
Popeyes.
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 Popeyes you travel.
Oh.
Popeyes you travel for.
Yeah.
KFC you don't.
Oh, yeah. So, all right.
I'm
Well,
hungry.
I know. No.
Go get
I
some
have-
Popeyes chicken
Snacky bunnies.
biscuits.
Oh, I got my orange. I just haven't peeled it yet. But I'll
Oh.
take snacky bunnies.
No, those are mine.
Oh, okay. So a whole box of them upstairs when you leave, but that's
Not
fine.
really.
Oh, great.
Not anymore.
Damn it. It's the last of the snacky bunnies. I'm screwed.
Oh, bummer.
Those
But-
little Annie's bunnies.
Yes.
I got the best
It's-
What
orange.
flavor?
birthday.
Oh yeah, the birthday cake
Ooh,
ones.
they're
Yep.
good. Yeah, our box is gone too.
Yeah.
Don't laugh at me.
You just shorted out the mic.
I love
Did I
it.
really?
I think you, I don't know.
I
I
hit
don't-
it.
Oh, is
sounds,
that what you
it
did?
sounds fine. It
Yeah.
sounds fine.
No, she sounded great. So thank you, love.
Okay, I
Well
guess I'm
done,
getting kicked
Lois.
out.
And leave my bunnies and
You can
leave.
hang out if you want.
I'm gonna go make dinner.
Oh, okay. Lois has got to go now.
Well,
My
before
wife-
she goes, what's for dinner for you guys? Because
for
I know
dinner,
that Patsy's going to want to know later.
KFC.
Oh yeah, Patsy always wants to know what we're having for dinner.
KFC.
Hey, that's right.
There you go.
Did they
That's
hear me?
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't muted you yet.
Oh,
Yet.
Dun,
That
dun.
shirt is amazing. Mentally rolling
Yeah.
my eyes right
Yeah.
now.
Isn't that the greatest shirt?
So
I love
great.
it.
I love it.
All right, thank you, love.
you're welcome.
Oh,
Getting all
good
this.
night.
She walked away.
I
Yeah.
know. Thank you. Love you.
Awesome.
All right. So
That was good. That was great.
Now,
Right back at you, kid.
let's try and shrink this up a little bit here. Why is the chat not showing? Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, there. Now we're back.
All right.
This is lady who said all that stuff. What? What is? Oops. Okay, let me mute that microphone.
See, Corey, I disagree about KFC's biscuits and versus Popeyes. I think they're both really good.
Ah,
'Cause they're
so now
biscuits.
there's a chicken debate.
Yeah.
You know, it's a horrible biscuit from the
Okay.
fast food world. That's right, Burger King. I don't like.
So
Burger King's
as we
biscuits.
reposition ourselves and
Hey,
bring
there
in
we go.
there, see, that's a little better, isn't it, guys?
Yes.
All right. So here we go. And in fact, let's switch me and Bekah. So Bekah is the main focus. Bekah George, ladies and gentlemen, life and wellness coach from Sheer Vision Coaching. Thank you so much for being here and putting up with our frivolities and whatnot. So Bekah, you have a life and wellness coaching business, as I've probably said about for 3 or 4 times now. Oh, there's your intro music.
Yes.
I figured From Graves to Indie Gardens would be
I love
fairly
that
appropriate.
song. Yes.
It's a great song.
It is.
But yeah, it's I think that's kind of appropriate for what you do,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, and we'll just leave this down right behind us while we're talking. So you have been doing life and wellness coaching for how long now?
So I've been a mental health therapist for 14 years, but I actually just started coaching for just the last few months, actually.
Okay.
So I'm brand new in the coaching world, officially, I guess. So I've been coaching as people kind of went out of therapy and kind of like naturally became coaching. But I just started my coaching business back in February of this year, and kind of it just took off about like April or May of this year. So it's kind of brand new. Yeah. So it's been pretty exciting.
Oh, right on.
Were you working for a facility as the mental health?
Yeah, so I worked for a prison for a long time.
Okay, I was gonna ask. Yeah.
Yeah, so I worked in multiple different places. So I worked in a prison for a while, in prison and jail both. I worked in addiction, so in a treatment facility. And then I also worked for Department of Children's Services for a long time.
Okay.
So I've done a little bit of everything. I actually specialize with sexual trauma and sexually maladaptive behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I've done some really like crazy stuff over the years.
Yeah.
I started out working with like sexual predators in the early years of my years out of grad school, and then had a daughter and was kind of like too messed up to do that, and decided to work with the victims more than the predators. So kind of started working with the victims after that, and then got into addiction recovery. So did that for a little while, and then started coaching. So
cool.
Wow.
So
you've got a real broad spectrum there, though.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Let me ask you.
Group of people to work with. I'm sorry, Chris.
No, that's fine. Just keep talking over me. I'll sit over here and enjoy the show.
I'm sorry. It's the Random Andy show right now. Sorry.
My favorite group to work with, like as far as therapy goes.
Well, I mean, in all your experience beforehand, before opening your own business, did you have I mean, the work that you did you particularly feel good about one group that you worked with, and did you have like a good plan with one particular group over another?
Probably addiction recovery. Like as hard as it was to do, it was probably my favorite group.
Gotcha.
Just because like I really loved seeing people overcome their addiction.
Sure.
And seeing people like get out of that, and seeing like how they were doing years later, and see them like out of that and see them overcome that addiction.
Yes.
There's just something about it. It's just amazing, you know?
Yep. It is. And former alcoholic addict right here. So recovering, as they like to say, but I 14 and a half years sober, but
awesome.
Lots of alcohol and addiction in my past, as Matt can attest to. Trust me. Real quickly, just want to say hi to all the people joining in: the Owl Orange, the Blank Alligator,
Oxycontin,
Oxycontin there. Thank you very much for joining in, guys. I was going to say that really fits into our time frame here, so this is awesome.
They knew.
Okay, so now, I got a couple questions. as you okay, so like you said, it was kind of a natural transgression for you because you
Mhm.
are kind of life coaching people out of well, one, recovery. You always
Right.
want to try and help them set up for the next phase. And now the okay, I want to make sure I use appropriate terms. So you said there was a lot of mentally challenged people, right, that you were dealing with. Is that correct?
In
I
the
you kind of rolled off a bunch of things here
sorry,
real quick. I'm
in
sorry.
the are you talking about in the addiction world?
In the addiction, but who were there was other people that you said you
I
were
worked with like
working.
Department of Children's Services, so like I worked
Okay,
in a whole gamut of things. There's basically nothing I haven't done in the 14 years I've been in the field.
wow. Department of Children's Services, that would be that I would think that would be very very hard.
Yeah. So I've been a single mom for about 9 years, and so I've always had a second job. So I've always in the course of forever I've always worked with the Department of Children's Services as a second job, and so I
Hmm.
have always had that in the background. So I've always worked with victim advocates and kind of being there for kids who needed a therapist as well, and that was always a
Mm.
rough job as well. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's always those pros and cons working with people in that way.
Right.
But yeah, I always had that in the side as well.
right. And I mean, yeah, because I remember I heard that's the one thing I caught, and I was just like, oh wow,
Yeah.
that's got to be heavy sometimes because some of these kids get so deprived,
Mhm.
and it's something that we've actually talked on the show about a while back, mind you. But um, the way our society has become, we've really created it to where both parents have to be working to survive to a certain
Yeah.
point. It is, the more upper middle class or upper class that can afford a mother to stay at home. But even then, she doesn't even do that, and the kids are left,
Right.
left to their own, and that's where we get a lot of, um, kids nowadays. They're making up their own pronouns and whatnot. Which,
Don't get
yeah,
me started. Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say
I
let's.
could talk all night long on how a Christian does not belong in the psychology world, like how hard it is of
Oh yeah.
dichotomy being in that field
Right.
is very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually follow somebody on TikTok. He is a physicist and a scientist, and he talks about it. But he has crosses. He's a very hardcore Christian,
Mhm.
and he gets questioned all the time. How can you be a scientist if you believe in God? And he's
Yep.
like, listen, God created all this science, so
Absolutely. Yes.
it's he does it in such an excellent way where
Mhm.
he just just shuts him down,
Yeah.
and
It makes no sense, like how those two things, like they're not mutually exclusive.
Exactly.
right,
Right.
yeah,
It's like,
it's
I
Yeah.
mean, it's
I almost got fired from a job once because I had somebody come to me and their parent, as the parent, wanted me to sign off on a child getting a basically a they wanted a psych eval where I mean I can't do a full psych eval because I'm not a doctorate level, but they wanted me to say that they had counseling for this child, that the child wanted a sex change,
uh,
to start the process of a sex
Oh
change. And I
wow.
said, they said, well, hey, you're the first step towards the psych eval, which goes to the doctorate level next. And I said, I won't
No.
agree to that in any way, shape, or
Yeah.
form. And they said, well, we still have to go to a psychiatrist next. And I said, I'm not going to even agree to my process of that because I don't think they're 9. I'm not going to do that.
Wow.
I
oh
said,
good
she,
lord,
this
are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
this
9 years
9-year-old
old.
9. I
Yeah.
said, this 9-year-old still wants to be a fire truck. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know what they want at 9.
Right.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. And so
Oh god.
I went into they called me into my supervisors and they were like, you have to admit that there's more than 2 genders. And I said, I will not. There are 2 genders, and so there was this whole thing, and I almost got fired. And I said, you can fire me if you want, but this is how it
Yeah.
is. It's science, and so
Yeah.
there was an issue, but I digress. It was, it was hard, but yeah, I definitely have had my share of those things where I was like, hey, I can't, having a daughter, right? I realized that I couldn't work in the prison system with
Yeah.
rapists, right? Like that was really hard for me.
Oh
On top
yeah.
of the sexual harassment that happened in a male prison, maximum security, that was insane, right? So
Wow.
there's a lot of things that I came to the realization of, like, I can't be objective in this situation
Right.
working with this
Yeah.
population, so I have to pull myself out.
Now, let me ask you this, because I'm going to get into some stuff here more about your life and wellness coaching, but just
Yeah.
because we're on the topic right now,
Sure.
and it's the Random Christian Show. So, what kind of toppings do you like on your pizza? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What he
So
really wants to know is if you were going to make yourself lunch and it was a sandwich, what kind of sandwich would
that's
it be?
later. That's our closing question, Matt.
Oh yeah. So think about it. Think about
Okay.
it.
No,
Right. Yeah,
you're
you
not
have the whole
supposed to prep
show
'em
to think
for it.
about it.
Well, you brought up pizza.
I know, because I was trying to throw her off. Anyway,
I'm
Man, I
trying to
roll
help
with the
her out.
punches. There's no throwing me off, man. I roll with the punches.
being okay, now if you weren't a Christian, okay,
Mhm.
would this still be one of those things where you'd be like, no, there's a boy, there's a girl, that's it?
Man, it's really hard to ask me if I wasn't a Christian, because that's in every fiber of my being. That's just who I am,
Right.
So it's very hard to like separate that.
Right.
But I think that being a part of this culture, that's what I'm taught culturally, that there is, so many other choices and all these people who believe that. So it's hard to answer that. But as I just can't separate myself from my beliefs, and I believe that there's two genders. So
Right.
it's hard to say that separate from that.
Okay,
Well,
Corey's in love with you.
I've got a question. So they wanted you to sign off that you'd just spoken to the child, or
They
that
wanted me basically to say that, that they were having these feelings, and that they wanted, that they were mentally sound enough to have the next conversation with the psychiatrist.
No, it's
but
a
have you
9-year-old.
actually even talked to the kid?
Yeah, I had the conversation with the kid. I knew the kid. The kid was my
Then
client.
I feel like I'm not signing off on that, because I mean,
But
you
the
could just say
I
no,
didn't
because
feel
I don't think
like-
they're there yet. He needs to
No,
talk
I
to
had
someone
had,
else.
I knew the child. I had had the child for a year, and the child had never had a conversation with me about wanting to be a girl. The child was a boy.
Wow.
The child had never had a conversation with me about wanting to
Well,
be a
then
boy.
I mean,
So
you've got it right
literally,
there, just
they
saying,
came
hey,
in, and
they've never
literally
even
one
brought it
day,
up. Like,
yes.
what
So they
the?
said all of a sudden this child wanted to be a different gender, and I'm like, whoa, like, what are you talking about? I've had this child for a year, and I've never heard this before. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
no, I don't buy this. And I knew that the parent was very, very, very had an agenda, to say the least. And so
Sure.
I'm not going to believe this when you want me to just come in and have this conversation.
Yeah.
And you're going to back me into a corner when you're not going to tell me after 5 days that this child has all of a sudden had this, when I've been seeing them for 1 hour every week for 14 months. You're not going to tell me that.
Right.
Or like you said, like the parent asked leading questions, maybe.
Yes, exactly.
And
Yeah.
like, well, if you had a choice between being, a rock or a girl, I mean,
Exactly.
I'd rather be a girl
Or,
than a rock. Like,
don't
honestly,
you want to wear a dress today? Don't you want to wear this? Don't you think you would look good in this? Don't you think, those types of
I
things?
mean, I look good in a skirt, but I
I
don't
was
wear
gonna
them all
say-
the
Right.
time. So.
Yeah.
I
No, it's
can
the
rock
old-
a kilt like
Yeah.
nobody's
So, I mean-
business.
No, it's
But,
the old Eddie
yeah,
Izzard.
I mean,
It's the old Eddie Izzard bit. Keiko death. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
What do you want?
Eddie Izzard recognizes himself as a woman now. You realize that, right?
I do know that, but that's his
Oh.
choice.
Well,
but he's over 18, so I mean,
Right.
he's
Yeah.
not a 9-year-old.
And I believe
so,
very much
and,
in loving
and he's
all people.
still a guy.
I believe in loving all people. I have several gay
Yeah.
clients. I have several trans clients. I have no problem with that. And I
but a
always tell my
9-year-old.
in the ones that because I own my own business, I always say, look, I come at everything with a faith perspective, a faith base. And
Right.
I cannot separate that. And I will not
Yeah.
separate that. And I will not apologize for how I believe. However, I will never spit hate at you. I will never say, anything derogatory to you, but I will not separate how I believe. And what
Right.
I think is a big compliment to me is when people say things like, wow, I've worked with you for a year and I've never felt any kind of hate or judgment towards me. And that's when
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's my job. And
Yeah.
that's my
Right.
heart, right? Like, I'm not supposed to
Yeah.
hate you.
Well,
know?
and obviously because the people that you're coaching and dealing with, they realize that you are putting your heart into it, so they're not going to be attacking you. I mean, if they do,
Exactly.
then they're obviously not getting anything from what you're doing with them, and so they
Yeah.
need to move on and maybe get an aneurysm or something. I'm not sure, but either way, it all works out in the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so your natural transgression into life coaching. Now, what was the main inspiration to take this kind of a leap out of what you've been doing, your counseling and all that, into into the life coaching, were you just not seeing a big follow through in that? Because I know and I'm not trying to down talk what you do. What I'm trying to legitimize is there seems to be a lot of people starting to do this, or calling it, the life coaching and things
Yeah.
like that. And I mean, the reason I wanted you on is because even just in our little blip of conversation, I was like, wow, I want to know what she's got, you
Yeah.
know? And I thought it was great. Like I was telling these guys, I'm like, dude, she just had a lot of energy. And she was just, I wanted to hear what you got to say,
Well,
and
good.
I thought it was great. And so, and I don't know if it was God saying, no, get her on your show. My little teeny tiny show. But you could make it big. So what took you from one to the other, and what makes you want to do this and expand on it?
Well, yeah, first of all, I always pray for divine partnerships and divine connections. So I always believe that no connection is ever like wasted. So I appreciate, connection and
Oh, wait,
I
wrong screen.
believe, completely that every connection is important. So I appreciate that. But second of all, I believe that there are a lot of holes and deficiencies in therapy. A lot of them.
Okay.
And I believe wholeheartedly in therapy. I believe that everyone should have a therapist. I believe everyone should do therapy at some point in their lives. 1,000,000%, right? I believe that there is a lot of benefits to therapy, but I think that there are a lot of holes and deficiencies in it, like I said. So I think that first of all, there is a governing body that tells me what I can and can't do in therapy, right? So it says what I'm allowed to do, what I'm not allowed to do, which is great. I mean, there's a reason for that, and that's awesome. However, it ties my hands with a lot of things, right?
Mhm.
So because of that, there's somebody telling me how many sessions I'm allowed to have with a client. A lot of times it tells me how long I'm allowed to see a client. It tells me what I'm allowed to do as far as aftercare with a client. It tells me what I'm allowed to do, what states I'm allowed to see a client in, what
Mhm.
states I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so stupid to say that I can see, if Corey's my client, that I can see Corey in, Indiana, because that's the state I'm licensed in, but I can't, I just moved from Indiana to Florida. I'm not licensed in Florida yet. So you mean to tell me I can't see a client in Florida because I'm not, licensed here, but I can see a client in Indiana? That's so stupid to me. Like, why? Because it's a
Right.
hierarchy. It's a payment system. That's so dumb, right?
Yeah.
Well,
So now I got to jump through all
again,
these hoops.
that seems like a very old contrivance, because now people are getting these sessions online too, so you can
Right.
literally be anywhere. So
Right.
does it matter where you are? Does it matter where you're dispensing
exactly. So
the coaching, or
then
does it matter where they're
it
getting
matters the person. So then the person who is
Excuse
receiving
me.
the therapy is the person. So then if somebody goes on vacation, it matters the amount of weeks that they're gone, right? So it's like, if
Right.
you're gone for more than 90 days, you're considered you're considered, a resident in that state. So then I
Right.
can no longer, but then there's all these rules about, well, continuity of care. So because I started with you, then I have to continue. There's all of these stupid rules.
Wow.
But what if you're
that are
doing it
dumb.
online? What if you're
It
doing it
doesn't
online?
matter, even if it's
Really?
online, right? So right
Wow.
now, because of COVID, there's a little bit of leniency. So like right now, I have a couple clients in like New York and a couple other places, because there's been some leniency where they've said, hey, we are allowing you, because of state of emergency, to open up to a couple other states. But it really stresses me out, because you have to continue to like get temporary licensure in those states. And so I'm like, this is just annoying. I don't want to do this.
Well, and again, if somebody comes to you with business, and like, you have to ask where they live, and you say, "Oh, I'm not licensed."
And then
there, sorry.
and then there's students, right? So if if they're a student there, and then they go home for the summer, then I'm technically supposed to stop seeing them for the summer.
Ugh.
Or I have to like have a signed affidavit that says that like if they're gone for this amount of time, they're technically still a resident of this state. I mean, it's so annoying.
Wow.
And then
that's
once
crazy.
they're no longer a client of mine, then I cannot have any contact with them for 2 years. So for 2 whole years, I cannot have any contact whatsoever with them, which is heartbreaking to me. And I understand
Yeah,
that
because
there's boundaries, right? Like I get that I'm not supposed to have boundaries. I'm not supposed to be friends with them. I understand that there's like that professionalism, but at the same time, I would like to be able to have like, hey, how are you? I'm praying for you. Is there anything you need? Like sometimes it'd be nice to be able to check up on them, see if they're okay, those types of
right.
things. You're not
Or
allowed
what if
to,
they contact
you know?
you?
It doesn't matter. I cannot have any kind of contact with them in
But
any
that's
way,
what I'm
shape, or
saying.
form
What
for
if
2
they
years.
just say,
Right.
"Hey, we were talking about this yesterday, and it made me think of
It
you,
made
so I
me
thought
think
I'd
of
shoot you
you.
an
Right.
email."
So then
Yeah.
technically, so if somebody does that, I will then be like, hey, okay, hope you're well. But technically, you're not
You
supposed to do
can't.
that. You
Yeah,
know, and
and
so
you
then
can't go any further than that. Just a
yeah.
nice reply
So
and
then it's
thanks.
like
Bye-bye.
then you get really nervous about it, and then it's just like this uncomfortable, like, I hope
Because yeah,
like,
what if somebody's testing you,
right.
I mean,
right?
and for any kind of healthcare,
Like
be
Ann
it
Coulter.
be it physical healthcare or mental health care, you have people that the people that you go to are people that you trust,
Right.
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
you're trusting them with your body, you're trusting them with your state of mind
Right.
at the same time, and not everybody gels together.
Right.
So just to tell somebody that you can't see them anymore just because they live in a different state seems very archaic and weird.
And it can really hurt your relationship and hurt your rapport. It can hurt their,
Yeah.
and then sometimes people have trauma of like being left, right? And then they feel like you're abandoning them. And then that's
Right.
just reopening that wound.
I was gonna say it's a whole can of worms out on the
right?
table
And
again.
so then it's like, okay, you've got all these issues that you just like reopened. And then like I have these clients now who are like, maybe I saw a year ago, who were like, hey, you're putting yourself out there on Facebook and social media. I want to follow you because you have encouraging content. Can I follow you? Well, technically they're not allowed to. And they're like, well, I don't understand. I just want to be able to see your content because you're encouraging. Well, technically I have to now block you because you're following me, even though I told you I'm not allowed to. And then that hurts their feelings, right? So then it's like this whole like, I'm sorry, but if someone sees that you're following me, right? And so there's all of these things that is just so frustrating. Whereas coaching, there's no governing body. So I'm allowed to do that, right? So it's like, I can take it without the liability of that. But then there's also the danger of, because there's no liability, any quack job can come out here and say that they are a coach, right? So there's the pros and cons, right?
Sure.
Right. Okay. And I've been writing down some notes here. Okay. So that's what I was going to is now this life coaching gives you a lot more ability to open up and be with, or follow up with even some of your old patients, correct? Or is it no?
For what?
You could follow up with some of your old patients now doing the life coaching and wellness coaching, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so you are awesome because you found a loophole, and I love it. I love good loopholes. I hate bad loopholes.
That is exactly what I'm hoping for, is to be able to do those things. So now I can have them on social media. Now I can reach out to them. Now I can actually connect to them in a genuine way. I can text them, a random Tuesday and just be like, hey, I was praying for you today. I hope you're having a great day. You know what I'm saying? Like I can do that. I can include one of them. I have a couple I'm leading a Bible study on Wednesday nights. I have a couple of my clients that are in my coaching world right now who I invited into my Bible study on Wednesday night because I know they would benefit from it. Yeah. And I can do that. I could never do that in a therapy setting, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't have to tell anybody that they're my coaches, they're my clients, but it's okay because there doesn't have to be that fear of that, right? Or like, let's say one of my clients, like this happened before. I had a client who is a client of mine that was a therapy client, and her husband owned a car shop, and my car broke down, and I would love to give her husband my car business because that's what I need, but ethically, and I could get in trouble for giving her husband money because technically that's against the rules, right? So I had to take, well, then she found out that I took my car somewhere else, got really angry, and no longer wanted to see me as a client.
Oh, wow.
Right? So there's all of those things that are just involved in all of that I'm like, this is just, I just can't. And then on top of all of that, there's the holes of therapy with like, people get stuck. I mean, I've seen clients for 5, 6, 7 years who just can't get past their trauma from years ago.
Yeah.
And I am the kind of person who, like, some people don't like to see me because I will hold your hand for a while. And then at some point I'm like, all right, let's just pick it up, buttercup. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has
you've got to
trauma.
kick them in the butt.
Like everybody has trauma, and I'm sorry that happened to you. I really am. But like, we cannot stay here forever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like,
there's a grieving time frame.
Yeah.
or,
And so
I mean, if you want to call it that or whatever, there's you
Well-
have a time frame of recovery or grieving or whatever it is, and yeah, there's a point where it's moving on time.
Right.
It's
But
like in
it's- yeah,
recovery.
the-
Recovery was the same thing. It's you have to assess your losses and your damages. You make your amends. You move on. Okay,
Right.
you can't hang here and oh, poor me, and oh, I should have done this, and oh man, I really screwed that up. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're recognizing it. Awesome. Now, move on.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
go.
and you need to remember too why you went to talk to somebody in the first place.
Exactly.
Like a to recognize why you're feeling the way you're feeling, but also mainly to grow from it, right? And if you're staying there and you're sticking in the moment, obviously you're not growing.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not moving on, and you're not getting that. You're not essentially getting what you needed to start with.
Right.
What you went there initially for, and so that makes total sense.
It's like,
But
yeah,
I've
you're
noticed
not, you're
people who
not.
come to look for coaching tend to be a little more comfortable with the push, right? And I'm not saying
Sure.
all of the time, but with therapy, people are a little bit just not as comfortable with that.
Because I imagine that a lot of the stuff before was mandated, not
Yes.
necessarily voluntary.
right.
And
Right,
so
which I
getting-
think
getting-
Corey was touching on here, but
Right. Getting someone to the point when it's mandatory of just realizing the problem initially and then wanting to move on,
Right.
that's 90% of the battle, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
But then now that part's all eliminated now because now they're motivated. They found you, they need you for something,
right.
right? And now you're there to push them in the direction that they need to go.
Yes.
Matt, what were you going to say? You started to say something a second ago.
That after a certain point, if they're not moving on, it's just like, this obviously isn't working for you with me, so we're gonna have to part ways. You're gonna have to find someone that can actually help you.
Yes.
If you can actually find that person, but
Yeah, obviously you got
wasting
stuck
both
in
of our time, like being here. Like
I've said that so many times and people get offended. They're like, no, but I love you. And I'm like, well, obviously I'm not working for you.
yeah.
Right.
And they'll say
maybe
like,
for
no,
a different
no.
problem.
Yes,
'Cause
maybe I make you feel too good. I don't know what the issue is here, but like,
My
No,
therapist fired
makes
me
sense.
a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Because we were done with what I went in for.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And
she was
he
like,
said it's
you know,
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, like,
But see, that's the sign of a good therapist, I would
Yeah.
think, is that
Exactly, yes.
because they're like, hey, listen, you've done it. You're here. I mean,
yeah,
maybe, you'll come back in a couple years if something comes up, but right now you've tackled what you came here to deal with. You've done a great job. You've moved on. It's
Yeah.
time to finish growing.
no,
You
well,
know?
exactly. She talked me down from the, anyway. Well, it was really dumb. I had this thing where I just have these crazy scenarios when I was a passenger in a car of fiery crashes and dying and death from nowhere.
that's not
Mhm.
crazy at all. That's,
Oh,
Yeah.
I know, but you're like, this is insane that I'm having these thoughts when in the reality is it's not going to happen.
You
But
know?
so,
Right.
but we worked through that, and she gave me the tools, and then we touched on other stuff. But I now had the tools, and I really was just, she didn't want to waste any more of my money.
You never did let me drive you around.
You were drunk all the time,
Well, that's a good point. But
so I mean,
even the times I
Makes
wasn't
sense.
drunk, but
you
you would always be like, oh no, I'll meet you there.
yeah,
well, I
the
like having
control
my
thing.
own car.
it's a control
Yeah.
thing, probably.
Yeah, there's
right?
Yeah.
something about having an out when you go out.
I don't like being stuck places, and that comes from being a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From when I was a kid and having,
Mhm.
and that's one of the things that we worked through.
Yeah.
We got behind the scenes,
Ah.
and she was fantastic. And when I was done, she cut me loose. And so being cut loose by your therapist is either it worked and you got to leave, or it's not working and you got to leave.
and find somebody else. And
Yeah.
and I'm sure that you would make that clear, though, wouldn't you, Becca? I mean, you'd be like, listen, this
Absolutely.
isn't working for me
Yeah.
or you. So here's somebody else that might be able to help you.
Mhm.
Or I'm sure, I mean, I'm sure you guys do that as professionals. You're like, listen, I can see this isn't happening anymore,
Yeah.
but here's some other people that I think you might want to check out.
Yeah.
You know,
There are
it-
personalities even that I don't mesh well with. Like
Right.
I
Right.
am not very assertive or aggressive. I try to be assertive. I'm not very aggressive. I'm kind of like I just kind of am very chill. And so if I get with a personality that is very, very aggressive, I tell them like I'm just not for you because
Yeah.
like I will be bulldozed if you bulldoze me for too long. Like I will just stand back and be like, look, you can pay to bulldoze me, but like this is not gonna work for
Yeah.
either one of us. So like I'm just
Yeah.
gonna step back and be like, you go do that somewhere else. You need a stronger personality than me. And so
well,
I
but
was,
if they're
you know,
bulldozing you, wouldn't that be like, okay, you're obviously not ready for this?
right, but
And
there are
so,
therapists that will push back and be like, "Oh no, bro, like we're not doing this." You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not that person, right?
Yeah.
And
come
part of
at me,
that is-
bro.
But part of that is because of my own trauma, right? Because
Yeah.
I shut down
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Right.
and I know that about myself. So there are things
Yeah.
that I know about my trauma that makes me say I'll recant and I become like unhealthy myself. And so I will
Yeah.
not go there with you. And so instead of becoming unhealthy, I will just say this isn't good for me.
Right.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I'd
Excellent.
imagine that some therapists see the bulldozing as a
As a
trait to
therapy.
sort of, but as a trait to work through though.
Right.
Like I can probably break this guy of bulldozing me and get him to a point of where
Oh yeah,
And-
for sure.
and to go back to the point of sometimes having to let clients go is that you're not I mean, we as people just aren't emotionally vulnerable with everybody that we meet,
Yes.
you know, and therapists are those people that they know a lot about you, maybe more about you than anybody else.
Oh yes.
So
Oh yes.
it's a breakup. It feels like
Yeah,
a breakup. It really
does.
does. It's like, you know what? We worked through your issues. You know, we did it. We're done. This
Yeah.
is, and
Yeah.
it's like, is it me?
But now what? Yeah. But like
It's not
like,
you,
right
it's
now-
me. I can't deal with
Yeah.
you anymore.
But
Oh,
there's
it's the old not
probably-
you, it's me.
There's probably never going to be anyone who knows you that deeply.
Exactly.
Again, right?
Yeah.
But
Right.
you have to
No,
know
absolutely.
you have to know your biases. You have to know your boundaries, right? I mean, just like I have
Yeah.
friends who are therapists who say like they won't take clients who don't speak, right? Like I
Yeah.
have clients who, some of my favorites are the teenagers who literally will come in and be like, "Screw you, I don't want to talk." And I'm like, "Cool, this is my favorite." Like, we'll sit, we
Right
will
on.
sit and stare at each other for an hour. That's cool because I've worked at a maximum security prison for, I'll sit and
Yeah.
stare at them for an
Like,
hour.
yeah.
Like, that's cool. I'm stuck here with you and we're court ordered and
Yeah.
we'll just stare at each other. But I have friends who are like, that makes me so uncomfortable. I will not do that. You know your biases and you know what you're not comfortable with, and that's okay. Do you know what I'm saying? So you know those things that
Yeah.
you can't work with. Same with like when I worked with the child molesters and the pedophiles and the rapists and stuff. I would work
Yeah.
with the ones who were remorseful. I could do that because as
Yeah.
hard
Right.
as that was for
Yeah.
me, I could do
Sure.
that. I could
Yeah.
not work with the ones who were like, yeah, so I'm not sorry. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And
No.
so you know those things about yourself, right? And that's when you have to be self-aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's and just because we do nerd out quite a bit here, it's like the line in Watchmen. I don't know if you know what I'm about to say, but you're not locked in here with me. I'm locked,
I'm locked in here with you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I use that line at work a lot because when the guys come in and they start freaking out, and I said, listen, I'm the boss. You're gonna have to get that through your head. Yes, I'm a very nice guy and I'm very patient, but you don't want to see bad Chris
Mhm.
because
Right.
bad Chris will make your life a living hell.
Yeah.
And
You-
remember,
you know how nice
you're in
Chris
here
is?
with me.
That's how bad Chris is on the other side of the line.
Mhm.
There was a very, very bad Chris at one point in his life, and we're not going to go there. But
That's how
But
I was.
everything shapes you into who you are, right? I mean, looking
Absolutely.
back on every experience I've had, there's a reason.
Yeah.
And I believe, God has used God doesn't waste anything, right? So he's used
Right.
everything in my life, just like in yours, right? To create who we are. And there's
Absolutely.
a purpose for everything, right? Nothing
Yep.
is wasted. 100%.
absolutely. And real quickly, let's all say hello to Patsy Ann because Patsy Ann's here. Hi, Patsy.
Patsy.
Hi, Patsy.
Patsy, we have
Um,
work for you.
Yeah, we have some work for you, Patsy.
Yeah, we do.
We've got an evil plan.
Yeah, we gotta talk. We gotta talk, Patsy.
We'll be talking in my lair soon. Okay.
We'll have Patsy in our next Sunday.
Our
Invite
planning
her
meeting.
on to be part of the
Oh yeah,
part of the
and
show
the-
next Sunday
Mm.
planning.
Yeah. So, and by the way, just because you are therapy and stuff, I have a lot of voices up here that come out every now and then. So
No judgment.
just being prepared for that.
Yeah,
Now,
how long is this session? We got a lot of work to do with Chris.
So what
I
I'm
got
really
time.
worried about with Chris is
oh, here we go.
I got time.
It's not technological. Okay, so now getting back to some points that we touched on earlier. So you were talking about the therapy, how you have certain parameters that you cannot and can go in. So basically, a therapist is really strictly regulated to what they can and cannot do, correct?
Yes.
Okay, which is very, very funny because of, again, and I'm sorry, because it's something that just completely annoys me, especially with my kids, because we've run into it a little bit. It's the gray area of gender, okay? And you know how kids are making up their own pronouns, like I said. So that's all allowable. That's all cool. But when it comes to someone's mental state of mind, they have this is this, this is this, this is this. It's black and white, but they have all these gray areas that it's covering and protecting. And it drives me crazy. So with your life coaching and wellness, you can break down those regulations and those borders. You don't have to be governed by that, correct?
Yes.
So you don't really have like a board or whatever it is, that will, if something comes down to it, they go, oh, no. According to this bylaw right here, subsection 12, A, paragraph 3, you can be like,
Yep.
and be like, listen, I'm here, I'm helping this person, and this is how we're doing it. And it's working if you just keep your little nose out of my business. But,
Yep.
Okay. So awesome. So this is really an upgrade, not only for you, but for the people that you work with.
Yes.
Okay. And I think it sounds like it's a way more powerful tool for
I have a
the
I have a
person.
weird question on this. So, is there any sort of certification, or
No.
can you just call yourself a life coach?
You
and that's it?
literally can just call yourself a life coach. There are certifications you can get.
Sure,
Right.
right, and I'm sure that those help here and there, but
Yeah,
But
but
again,
you
I could-
literally can just, you can call yourself a life coach straight out high school. As a 14-year-old, you can call yourself a life coach. It doesn't matter.
sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Now, if you say certified, obviously there are different
That-
certifications.
Right, yeah.
There are a hierarchy, right, of certifications. Whereas, like, there are certain certifications that are well known in the life coaching world.
Right.
And then there's certain ones that are like less well known, right? So like the McDonald's versus the steak houses of them, right?
Yeah.
But none of them are governing. So there's no actual body. So there's some of them that are like, full on tuition of like $25,000, but it doesn't
Right,
mean anything.
yeah.
Like it's not
Yeah.
actually like accredited by any governing body.
Yeah.
at all.
Sure.
it's just like, welcome to Life Coaching 501. Can I take your order?
Basically.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
was having problems after being, I had a weird situation in a bathroom. Okay, go ahead. Tell me your problems. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To
Everybody
give you an
just wants the
example,
Happy
whenever
Meal.
I started coaching, I decided back in like December, January, when I wanted to start this, I decided, hey, I've never had a life coach. I want to know what this is. So
Yeah.
I contacted like probably 100 different coaches just because I wanted to see what was out there. And you can get like a free 20-minute consultation from most coaches. And I just wanted to see what was out there. And I tell you, I had some of the weirdest quack jobs, like who said they were coaches. I had one lady. She zoomed me, and I'm not even kidding. This is off like a movie, I swear. She was sitting Indian style on this big purple fuzzy pillow, and she was like doing like this weird like
Are you kidding?
chakra cleansing situation. And she had, and she had all of these like fuzzy things going on, like all this like stuff in her area. And all she did was just, oh, my child, my beloved, you are my baby. And she just kept, she was like, you are my spirit love. And I was like, what does that even mean? My spirit love? Is that like a spirit animal? Like, what does that mean? And she was just like, I know that we're spirit sisters, we're soul sisters. You have to hire me. And I was like, well, how much do you cost?
God
Oh.
bless.
She said, how much do you, I said, how much do you cost? She said $350 an hour.
Oh,
I said,
Man,
okay.
I'm a life
I
coach.
was like, all right.
And I
I said
charge half
$350
that.
an hour. I said, what are your credentials? And she said, I'm certified. I said, okay, well, send me over your certification. So she sends me her certification. The certification she had was like some dingy certification. Like it was in some like, it was like yoga, life coaching. Like it was not even like ICF certification, which is like
Right.
accreditation of life coaching.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so here I have 2 bachelors, a master's, and I'm almost done with my second master's, right? So like,
wow.
Mhm.
for me, I'm like, I have like actual education, and several certifications in like, I'm working on certifications in life coaching just to have them, even though I don't really feel like I need them because of my education, but
Sure.
I am working on them. And so I'm like, I have $120,000 of student loan debt to make sure I have education. Here's this lady, like, and I'm like, do you have clients who pay you $350 an hour? And she's like, honey, I have a wait list. And I'm like, good for you. Like, good for
Yeah.
you. You know what I'm saying? But
Wow.
like, seriously. And
no-
so she just lit up when I told her, like, when I said like what I do for a living. And she was like, I know we're going to be soul sisters, whatever. And then I spoke to this other lady out in California who charges $2,900 for a half a day intensive workshop. $2,900. And she had like hundreds of people on her wait list. And I saw the list. I mean, she was like, there's this whole thing you can sign up for, and there's all of these people waiting for her. $2,900 for half a day. And that was like a discounted price. Like these people are just killing it. And
No,
it's
so-
all about how you can sell
Yeah.
yourself.
I was
Well,
gonna
yeah.
say it's all
What-
marketing.
What service do they actually offer? Like, what do you get for that $350 an hour?
It's literally just about helping you find yourself. Like all
Yeah.
she could tell me when I asked her what she does is I will help you believe in yourself. Like literally, there was nothing concrete. There was nothing. There were people I talked to who were like, here's my curriculum. Here's exactly what I can offer you. Here's what I walk you through. And I was like,
Yeah.
boom, amazing. This is incredible. I will pay you $300 an hour. There are other people who literally would just be like, I help you come up with the power from within you. Some ridiculousness like that.
I work with a couple of life coaches. I'm a graphic designer, web guy,
And one of them charges $2,900 a day.
No, she does have seminars that are in that range.
Mm-hmm.
She surely does, and it's incredible. And you're right, people pay for them.
Yep,
sure do.
And it's
the thing is, like you said, it's all the marketing. It's just like
Mhm.
our podcasts and stuff. Okay. And I'm not trying to brag, but everybody that's either listened to the show or has been on the show was like, this was way better than what I thought it would be. This is so awesome. I can't wait for your next show, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, okay, good. Pass the word around, which, nobody really does. Or, there's so many podcasts out there. It was like, oh yeah, it's a podcast. Okay, great. Yeah, I'll listen sometime. And, like my dentist, okay, the lady was like, oh yeah, when I went back in, she's like, I heard your show. That was awesome. Was that really you? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And she's like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And
we love you, Patsy.
Yeah, we love you, Patsy.
Oh, Patsy, thank you.
Patsy and Corey are gonna duke it out for #1 fan here.
Right. But
That's a
okay,
whole
and this
different
brings me
Patreon
to what
level right
Corey
there.
was saying here. But yeah, it's all about the marketing. And I mean, again, what Corey also said was, I smell a charlatan or somebody selling snake oil. But I love what he was. It's one of my questions I have written down here. Is there any protection for you in case like somebody does freak out or go crazy and tries to blame it on you? Do you have any kind of recourse protection or anything like that?
I mean, as a coach.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it can somebody like throw something back? Oh, well, she convinced me to go burn down, every McDonald's that I saw on the way.
I have liability insurance through my company that I also have liability insurance through as a therapist, just to cover myself, just in case, So
Okay.
because I'm technically giving advice, and because I am a therapist, I feel like I have extra liability where somebody could be like, well, because she's a therapist, they could, she gives me this extra thing. Now I have extra paperwork that I make them sign that says, I am not giving you this advice as a therapist. I'm giving you this advice as a coach, which gives no clinical, background in any way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's
Sure.
like that extra like coverage, but people are not always the smartest, right? And so like because of that, I have to be really careful.
Right.
Which is
Okay.
mean, but it's true.
Okay,
Yeah.
and this just came to my mind because I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about all these people that are, life coaches and wellness coaches, and they're sitting on purple fuzzy pillows with,
Yes.
their
Chakra
incense
energy
burning
stuff.
and
Yeah.
So basically, and I know this is extreme, but this is just for instance, Charles Manson could have considered himself a life coach.
For sure.
The way he manipulated all these people, got them to do what they're. We lost Matt.
Mm-mm.
What time is it out there?
Yeah, it's high internet time over there.
Damn it! All right, yeah, Matt has
3:30.
an internet signal problem. So I mean,
he had a lot of great qualities, honestly, as a leader. That's what I used to tell people in prison. You have amazing qualities as a leader.
right, and well, look at Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
Yeah.
Hitler. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, he's insane," and stuff. But listen, the guy knew how to influence and win people.
Yeah.
He was
know?
charismatic. He was very
Yeah.
charismatic and
Oh.
could hold a room with
Yeah.
how he talked.
Great leadership skills.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
literally today, guys like that could be protected. And
Yep.
and
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. What is there any way that somebody in your position, I mean, yes, and obviously you're working for the light and the good side. Okay. You're working with God on your side, but I mean, you're doing the right thing but you've got people out there on their fuzzy pillows with incense and chakras manipulating people to do wrong. And it is, I mean, can you call BS on them? I mean, can you do
Absolutely,
that?
but anything that God deems as perfect and good, the enemy comes to pervert always.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So there's always
Yeah.
going to be a perverted way of whatever is good, and we
Right.
can't stop that. And so there's always going to be manipulation, and there's always going to be people that fall for that, no matter
Right.
what. And so
Okay.
all I can do is come to say, hey, how about we? That's why I incorporate faith into it, because I cannot separate something different. And so that's one of the reasons that I chose to start my own business. First, I started my own therapy practice because I could not separate faith. Like for a long time, I had to sit there and tell clients like this is only a mental health issue, and it was not. It was a spiritual issue too.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
I had to tell, and sometimes I would break protocol and say, hey, you know what? Like this is also a spiritual thing, and you can
You
fire
need to get some
me,
Jesus.
but there's got to be some Jesus here, right? Like there was times right out of grad school, there was times right out of grad school when I looked at, like, I remember like my voice shaking and everything, where I had to say like, you need Jesus, and I will sit here and I will tell you that you need Jesus, even if I lose my job, because your soul is more important than my job. But that's
There you
why I
go.
started that. And then eventually I came to coaching because I was like, there is a governing body that will eventually, I'll lose my license.
Right.
And that's okay if that's what happens, right? That's part of persecution. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to say, like, this is a holistic treatment that needs to happen. We need to look at you physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And there
Right.
is a battle that we have right now that we need people to be able to stand up and be healthy in every aspect of our life.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Wait, hold on. What is Corey saying here?
Corey,
Please
Chris,
hook me
please
up
hook
with
me up
this
with this
woman's
woman's
info or send
send mine to her.
Love this sister and what she's saying. Corey is actually, he's a pastor that has a podcast as well. And oh my gosh, Corey, I can't remember the name of it again. It's
sheervisioncoaching.com. It's right down below here.
His
podcast.
His podcast. But yeah, and Simply Said.
Thanks.
But yeah, I will hook you up with him, and Corey, yes, we will get you all hooked up and get the word spread out there with you, because yes, and that was one of the reasons, like I said, I wanted you on here, and it sounds like I think Matt just joined us.
Hey, come back, Matt.
Kind
Shameless
of
plug.
Yes. Well, it's what we do, Corey. But yeah, it can be just astonishing the way people get manipulated through you people. I mean, have you run into a lot of people that do that? They're like, "Oh yeah, life and wellness coach, whatever, are you going to
Oh,
align me?"
yeah.
And
Well,
I mean,
I've actually run into more therapists who have attacked me than anything else. So people
really?
who, yes. So I actually got kicked out of a therapist group a few weeks ago for therapists throwing rocks at me. Like, how dare you
Wow.
turn a real career into something like a mockery and all of these things. And I'm like, because a lot of therapists are very, very secular. And so they
Oh yeah.
Sure.
believe they believe, first of all, they went to school for a long time, and I give that to them. I understand, like we did,
Yeah.
we worked hard, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that all coaches are total chakra energy quack jobs on
Right.
purple pillows, right? So like
Right.
you can turn this into something that is real and legit. And I call myself a spiritual soul care counselor
Mhm.
because I bring it
Mhm.
all around, right? And so like
Right.
if you look at my social media, I'm working hard on getting healthy. Like for me, the Lord is convicting me on the fact that like I have had an issue in my physical health because I have, been really lazy with my physical health. So like getting healthy physically, getting healthy mentally, spiritually. So like I work on mental health
Mm.
coaching, physical health coaching,
Right.
so like everything all the way
Yeah.
around. So I don't, but I have actually had a lot of therapists who have been like, how dare you, even say that this
Mm.
is a real thing,
Right.
when there's, and it's because they're hurt by the fact that there are people who are out there with high school diplomas making $150 an hour.
Right.
And a lot of
And
Right.
taking
therapists,
business away from them
right?
and
And
ruining
there's
these other people.
honestly a lot of therapists who, like, a lot of people don't even know that there's a lot of therapists with master's degrees
Yeah.
making $30,000 to $40,000 a year. Like,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
don't go into private practice, you're not going to make a lot of money in this field, and that is really sad. But if you don't
Yeah, because
advocate for
there's a lot of
yourself,
good people out there
you're not going to
trying to
make a lot
do
of money.
good, and they
Hmm.
get jammed because of just that kind of thing,
Exactly.
Yeah.
they've spent 4 years in college, and they're doing the right thing. They're doing the good thing, but you get this guy who sells himself and does all this
Yep.
marketing to
And they
make him
get
look
mad.
fantastic or her
Yeah.
fantastic, and they they just damage these people even further. And
Yep.
then these people never
Yeah.
want to see a therapist. They never want to talk to anybody. They never, never again. And even worse, they go and do bad things.
Yeah.
Well, and again, it's because it's betrayed trust, essentially.
Right.
Right, right,
Exactly.
absolutely. But I mean, when I was in rehab, okay, I did almost 100 days in rehab, and I got the pink bubble, as they call it, where I got cocky. I'm like, 90
Good.
days, whatever, I'm done, and I hung out for a couple extra weeks or whatever. But it was, I saw people in there that would either get that way or get pissed off at the confrontation of being who they are and what they were, and they would go even further south. And it's just like somebody
Sure.
who the alcoholic who turns back to alcohol, you hit it even harder. The addict who comes back to the same drug of choice, they hit it even harder, and it takes them even deeper.
Right.
And I have I've been there, and I know.
Mhm.
And it's just mind-boggling. It's so funny how it becomes true, and there's people that will even push them even further, pretending to do good for them.
Right.
And so it's you just gotta, oh, it's so hard sometimes. And I mean, I do not envy you. I mean, I know you're doing good, and yeah, the battles you've got to go up against. I mean, do people like drill you over and over? Well, what do you do about this, or what about this? I mean, do you get a lot of that?
I get it from all sides. I get it from Christians. I get it from non-Christians. I get it from, I get it from every direction. And I just
Yeah.
tell people, all I can do is be obedient to God. All I can do is do what I feel like I need to do as,
Mhm.
from every area of my life. And that's all I can do. And also I remind people that there are, there are good and bad in every field, right? There's
Right.
good
Oh yeah.
therapists,
Yeah.
there's bad therapists, there's good doctors, there's bad there. I mean, no matter where you go, there's going to be good and bad. And so all I can do is
There's
is
good
do my part.
podcasters. There's bad podcasters.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so that's all I can do
Just
is do my
saying.
part. And
Um,
so and if I stay in touch with, with the Holy Spirit, for me, if I stay connected to him, then I'm going to do what I can,
Yep.
in my
Yeah.
in my world, and that's all I can do.
Yep. And yeah, see, look at Patsy Ann. She's like,
Yeah.
keep it up, Bekah.
And just like what Corey said, pastors deal with it too, right? Like one bad person, one bad pastor then reflects badly on all the
Yeah.
pastors.
Oh, yeah.
Same
Yeah.
with Christians in general. One bad Christian reflects badly, not just on other Christians, but on God in general. Like
Yeah.
then people don't want anything to do with God, which is another reason. So one of my biggest passions in what I do is helping with church hurt. So helping people to heal from the hurt that they experience in the church. And it's
Oh, wow.
because of what happens with people who have been hurt inside of the church, right? So I actually
Right.
went through a divorce 8-9 years ago, and I was in ministry. My ex-husband was a youth pastor. We were youth pastors together in the church, and the way that the
Wow.
church treated us when I was in ministry made me run from the church for a long time. And I got to the point
Mhm.
where I didn't want anything to do with God for quite some time because of the way that the church like dealt with it. My
Oh, wow.
non-Christian friends, most of my non-Christian friends were there. Most of my Christian friends were not. And
Yeah.
I
Wow.
just remember thinking, if this is how God is going to be in my life, like I felt like that was God, right? When really it wasn't, but that's how I felt. And so I want to go back and speak to those broken places in people to be like, that is not a representation of who God is. That's God's
Right.
broken people, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Catholic
Sorry, I
Church needs
can
you.
talk about this stuff all day. I get passionate about it because it's like my heart, you know.
No, that's
And
great,
that's what
though.
I'm saying. I
Yeah.
totally picked that up. Like I said, I told these guys, we had a very short conversation and it was all text, but I was just like, I got to get you on. You because I've talked to several, I know we touched on it earlier. I wanted to do like a forum, with a few other life coaches as well, but I couldn't get. There was a couple of guys. Oh, I'm too busy to do this and that. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever, dude. I mean, it's an hour or so out of your day, and you'll be,
Yeah.
out there,
Yeah.
and you'll be showing how well you are or how good all of you are.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I wasn't trying to do it to have a battle royale or anything. I
Yeah.
just wanted several different, like, you're
Perspectives.
faith-based. This other guy is more a fitness-based kind of, macho kind of dude. But, and then the other guy was more of just, very understanding. I mean, they all seem like good people. I'm not saying, I brought somebody in who looked like a quack job, but, but they made themselves seem, oh, well, Tuesdays at 4:00 Central. I don't know, and it was just like, wow. And you were like, I mean, just, yeah, hell yeah, let's do it,
Yeah.
and it was great. And I got that. Well, and like you said, God directs us in the right directions for the right reasons. So,
Absolutely. And I literally pray every day for divine connections and divine appointments because I believe all it takes is one connection. First of all, for one person to hear it and to be like, hey, this
Yep.
is what I need. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a healing conversation for them,
Right.
And
Yeah.
that makes it worth it, right? Like an hour of a conversation for someone to be like, this is a step towards healing for me. That's worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So now your leap of faith, basically, um, from just the therapy into the life coaching and wellness coaching. Now, what all do you got? I mean, you've got your website, and you said you're revamping your website. I saw that.
Yeah.
Now, what else do you do to get out there? I mean, is it all word of mouth, or what do you got to do to? I mean, especially with so many out there, what is the best way to do this? Do you have somebody that markets you? Because I mean, clearly you've got what you need.
Yeah, I just honestly, like I trust the Lord, I trust the Holy Spirit, and I just do what he tells me to do. So I just wait for people to talk to me. I do podcasts. I honestly, like, I feel like the trajectory of my life changes like right now every few months. Like I am in this place where I'm waiting for God to tell me what to do next. And I'm just kind of in this place that it's kind of like a pregnancy. Like I'm waiting for God to give birth. I'm waiting for God to give
Yeah.
birth to something great. Like I really am, right? Like I think that something great is coming, and I have dreams sometimes, and God told me in the middle of the night in a dream the other day that was like, do you expect, when you're pregnant, do you expect life or do you expect death, right? And so like for me, I expect
Ooh.
life. I expect something good to come, and I don't know
Right.
what that is. I don't even know that I'm going to be a coach forever. Like I don't know what that's going to look like. I do know that I have been working a lot on like my physical health, And so, you know, I've lost 25 pounds in the last 5 weeks. And I've done that through I've done that through finding a food program that has helped me, and through the Lord setting me free from a food addiction that I've had for a long time. That was birthed out of a you know, a really hard time in my life as a child that kind of like that grew for a long time. And food addiction was something that kind of came from that as a, you know, a long time coming. I always say I came out the womb chubby, and I just always was like that, right? And then I had a lot of insecurities. So you guys noticed when I first came on here, I immediately like was taken back because my picture was like flipped, and it's because I have this. So I have I had a tumor on the side of my face years ago where I have nerve damage. So I have no feeling. I have no feeling on the side of my face. So I have like no control over this whole side of my face. So that's why I have a question mark eyebrow, because I can't put this eyebrow down at all. So I have a lot of insecurity about my face. So I can't put it down at all. So like I have a lot of insecurities like physically. And so I am breaking free from all of that. And so the Lord is teaching me and showing me a lot of different things. So part of that is kind of understanding that I don't know what is going to be in store for me. So part of this coaching is not just, you know, the life coaching, but also is going to be physical health coaching. So I don't know what all that is going to entail, but I know that it is going to be writing a book. So I started on
very
this book.
nice.
I started on this book. I just have to like share this story because it's like a really cool story. So
Yeah.
When a year ago, I left a super abusive relationship in Indiana, and literally like got in my car, left everything I owned behind, like middle of the night, was like put everything I owned in a car, 10% of what I owned, everything else I left behind, and came to Florida. And you know, came here, and I had not really wanted much to do with the Lord because I was so hurt from the last 10 years after my divorce. And I went into church, and God said, he spoke to me, and he said, it's time for you to grieve. It's time for you to grieve the last, 8 years of your life. It's time for you to grieve everything the enemy stole from you. It's time for you to grieve. And I grieved. I grieved for 3 weeks straight. I grieved everything, all of this, right? So it was a deep grief. It was a grief that was from the depths of my soul grieve, right? So I grieved for 3 weeks. And after that, he said, it's time for you to get out of, I don't know, do you know the story of the prodigal son in the Bible?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he said, it's time for you to get out of the pig pen and act like you're mine. He said, it's time for you to wash off the mud and get out of the pig pen and act like you're mine. And he said, I want you to write a book, and that book is going to be called Out of the Pig Pen, Your Journey Out of Shame. And so I started a book immediately, and it is called My Journey Out of Shame. And so I am writing this book about how God has set me free from shame. And part of that is this food addiction, out of shame, out of molestation, out of promiscuity, out of all of these things, right? And so I can talk about this all day long because God has set me free from so many things. But the question is, I will do what God leads me to do. And part of that is going to be wellness coaching, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And so I will be hopefully on podcasts. I will hopefully be speaking at churches. I will hopefully be launching my book in the next few months. And so I don't know. One of the things is I really wanted to start networking myself, but I felt like the Holy Spirit was like, hey, I don't want you to network to the point where anyone can get glory except me. So I don't want anything where like any person can say that it was the reason that I am well known. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I got you.
So I kind of am in this place where I'm just waiting for opportunities for people to kind of be like, hey, come on my show or do this. So that was a really long-winded answer to your question.
I just want to say, if you become well known after being on here,
it was a great answer.
Very surprised.
So
yeah.
But I do not believe anything is wasted, and I believe that all it takes is one person to hear it and to be like, hey, passionate about it, right? So like Corey heard my story, and like for that one person to share the story, right? And so like that's all that it takes. And now I get to meet all of you great people, and you're my favorite people now, and I love it.
Well, thank you. You are one of our favorite people. This is awesome. Yeah. So wow. I mean, you truly like a phoenix coming out of all that, and
Yeah.
the glory of God just beaming through you at this point. So now, what's the next? You're writing the book,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have to come back on with the book
Yes.
because I've had a couple other people that I need to introduce you to as well that have been writing books on similar paths and journeys.
Joel.
I was gonna say Joel Carroll.
Yeah. I mean, you
Um,
you were mentioning the people that quit the journey and then go back into whatever they were deeper, and that's
Mhm.
exactly what I mean. We had a guy Joel on here that
Yeah.
he's he does drug counseling and was a
Yeah.
drug addict, and
super,
asked him
yeah,
about like
gang
the
member.
people that leave. Do you ever see him again? And he's like, very rarely, because they just
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's just
they don't come back.
heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of the stuff that he has to deal with. He's in a rehab place that he's a RHCP or I can't remember all
I
the
don't remember,
technical,
but
but I
Yeah.
mean he's the first line for the actual therapists that are in the rehab there, and he's the first line that coordinates. He's like the conduit
Yeah.
for them, and man, some of the stuff, like I was trying to do the narration for his book. He wrote the book, and I was doing the audiobook for him, and because I do voiceover stuff also, and I narrated the whole book, and for some reason I did everything according to whatever, and the guidelines that I was supposed to follow. I sent it to him. None of it works. None of it works at all. But the thing is, I got his story. I'm like, dude, either way, you've got to come on the podcast. He's like, you know what, brother? There's a reason this didn't work. This isn't what you really need to be doing. The podcast is what you need to be doing. And this is what God is telling me. And this is what God's saying you need to be doing. And I mean, he came on, he was great, and he's doing awesome. But yeah, that's what it's about. And so when you get that book done, you're coming back on here. I want you back
Absolutely.
on here.
Yeah.
So now how can people, I mean, do you do stuff online?
I do everything online. I don't have
Okay.
a space or anything.
You don't have a space or anything. Okay. So how can people find just sheervisioncoaching.com? Is this the
So
best
I
way to
have
find
a
it?
website that I'm going to be revamping, but right now it's sheervisioncoaching.com. So it's SHEAR, and that is
Mhm.
based on John 15. So it's one of my life verses, which is just abiding in him and how we can do nothing apart from him.
Okay.
And we have to stay connected to the vine, and that's how we produce fruit, right? So that is what
Beautiful.
that is based on. So Sheer Vision,
Nice.
SHEAR, visioncoaching.com. One of the social media like platforms that I'm I guess most active on is Facebook. So probably because I'm old and that's just the one that I'm most comfortable with. But
Yeah.
Bekah,
club.
so you just find me on like old school, that way. So my personal page is really the one I use. I never use my other one. It's probably really bad marketing, but I don't care. So it's Bekah George. That's BEKAH George, GEORGE. You can find me on Instagram, which is just at Sheer Coaching.
Yep.
You can find me there, and then or you can email me, which is just Bekah@sheervisioncoaching.com. So
Okay.
find me
Now,
any of those ways.
okay, Andy, can you send those to us, and we will put a link on my
Yeah.
webpage.
Yeah. Well, I'll set that up.
Because
Yeah.
all our shows go on the webpage. So we'll put a link in there as well. So that way, if people want to contact you, you can go to the randomchristianshow.com and you can get in contact with Bekah there. So yeah, it doesn't matter what state you're in, where you're at. Obviously, there's time frames that will or will not work for you.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing the Random Christian Show broadcast. And
But I usually work 6 days a week. So like Sunday's the only day I don't take clients. So like any other day, yeah, I'm pretty open. So
nice. Okay. So, and what, besides the book, what else is next for Bekah George? What's going to happen?
I just do what the Lord tells me to do. But other than that, I would love to do some group coaching. That's probably going to be if there's a group, so that people are interested in. I may do some group coaching. Also, there is to do some more affordable things for some people. I'm going to do something that's called like Voxer coaching. I don't know if you've ever heard of the
Oh, yeah.
Voxer app. It's basically where you have like I
Oh.
say 24/7 access to me, but it's basically like anytime you could just kind of like shoot me a
It's
message.
like a
we can
two-way
talk back and
radio,
forth.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
for a much cheaper price, just monthly, you can talk to me, like just to be like, some people just want that accountability to be like, hey, how's it going?
Sure.
How are you? Like, just to be like, are you reaching your goals? Here's the things you set out to do today. Are you doing them? Just to have that. So for a much cheaper price, there's been some people who have had that interest. So I'm going to be rolling that out as well. There's a couple people who have already signed up for that. Or you
cool.
can
That's
choose
an excellent idea.
You can choose Marco Polo. Some people prefer to be visual. I can do that as well. So you can choose either of those. I also will be having the group option once I get 5 people that are open to that as well. So just some other options for people who may not be able to afford one-on-one coaching, just because, coaching is a little bit more expensive. So
right.
yeah,
Absolutely. No, that is an awesome idea. I mean, because sometimes, especially after people have done all their therapy, they still need something to be held accountable for. It's like in AA or whatever, you have a sponsor or whatever when you start feeling a little weak, or you're just having one of those days.
Yeah.
Well,
I do a therapy platform. Like I do work contractually for a therapy platform online sometimes, and they do texting therapy, which I think is kind of dumb because you can't really do therapy texting, but whatever. Not my thing. But there are clients who will pay like $300 a month just to have a therapist to text with, just to have someone there because it's their security blanket, right? I don't get that money, they do. But it is, but it's still, and so I recognized like, hey, I can use that as a coaching to be like, hey, I can, be there for them if they need a coach, right? So I don't feel ethically, I don't feel right doing that in therapy, but in coaching, I can do that through Voxer. Would not do it as a texting, but through Voxer or something where we could do, a walkie-talkie or a Marco Polo where I could see them, because people just want to have that to check in, to have that contact, that accountability. And so I really think that is also going to take off. So
yeah, no, that's
kind of next too.
But I mean, that is such a great way. And girl, hey, if they want to pay you $300 a month to text,
I wish
I'd be like,
pay me that, but that's the
hey, see you, Corey.
I just feel like that's, I feel like that's a little unethical because that just seems like a lot. I can't.
Well,
even $100 a month.
I just want to say with the texting,
like, okay.
I wouldn't feel bad if I were you. A lot of people prefer communicating through text.
Yes, but
and it's I mean,
a lot of the younger kids.
Even I much prefer communicating through.
It's just that I feel like you can't see. They have it set up to where you actually do a text session. So for 30 minutes, you text back and forth with them. So then they get charged the same amount as a 30-minute session. And I'm like, I'm talking to you for a total of like 2 minutes, and I feel like you're not getting enough.
Yeah,
that's different. I mean, if you're gonna do like, you can text me anytime at a monthly fee, and if you're like, hey, I'm feeling this, like I just need words of encouragement.
That's what I thought you meant. That's exactly.
That's fine, but a half-hour session texting.
Nah, that ain't gonna do anything anyway. I mean,
not at all.
By the time you get done texting, you're like, oh well, our time's up.
It's just how are you, and then by that time, it's then it's like, okay, I'm done. So maybe if it was that other situation, but I'm open to. I just also like to have that option for people who say like, hey, I can't necessarily afford, $130 an hour or whatever for coaching. No. Okay, well, you can't afford maybe $150 a month. You at least have this check-in. That accountability. And you can text me anytime. I may not get back to you until 8 a.m. if you text me at midnight, but at least
but it's out there.
Right?
Whatever they were thinking, they can't take it back. They say it, and then you can hold them accountable with it and be like, hey, you know what? At 11:59, you were telling me, oh, I just feel like this, and I want to go out and eat a whole gallon of cookie dough ice cream.
Exactly.
Say that
and I did. I know because I've done it, but okay. So but I mean, that would be, I think, an awesome thing to offer to people because and yeah, you can't get right back to them, but hey,
Yeah.
it's out there, and
Yeah,
it'd be a
but
great way to be held accountable.
yeah, but there's comfort in knowing too that line is open as
Right.
well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and that's a value that a lot of people, some people would definitely see value in. Hey, I just need that option. It's
Right.
Yeah, because there's that.
it's medical insurance in a way,
Right.
right?
Right. There's that one person out there that's either, hanging on the edge, but hey, they're hanging on the edge waiting for you to respond from that text.
Right.
And
Right.
at least once they're sitting there going, okay, they're going to text here anytime. It's almost, 7 a.m. and I'm sure they're going to see their phone soon. But in that whole time, maybe they've already gone through the thought process that you've been encouraging them through anyway, and they've got the wheels spinning back in the right direction. And you're like, hey, what's up? Just got your message. Sorry. And they're like, you know what, man, I've been waiting for you, but you know what? I think I figured it out. And what do you think about this? And then boom, so.
Yeah.
And
they know that someone's going to check in on them.
Right.
Because I guarantee that. Like I always say, hey, I'm going to reach out
I'm
to
going to
you.
be talking.
Right? Multiple times to be like, hey, you told me last week that this was a goal for you. Did you get this done?
Right.
Did you have
and
this?
then boom.
Yeah. And then if they have that financial, investment, then they're more likely to do it. Just like that's why I always, put my money into something that I know is important to me, because then I'm more likely to do it. Right. So
Absolutely. No. And so that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think you've really tapped onto something there. You need to get back into that. So, all right. So like I said, we're going to put links to your sites and stuff on the webpage with the show. So that way people can find you. And like I said, you're out there, you're available, you're ready to go. So, and I had something hit me. I knew I should have written it down because I'm old and flibbly flab, but just because, what is your favorite lunch sandwich that you like to make?
Oh man, I should have been thinking about it.
But you have everything available to you in your fridge. So
yeah, anything you want in your fridge.
Available.
Yeah, and go and make whatever you want. So,
but what's you're like, man, if I have it in the house, this is the sandwich I make.
Probably chicken bacon ranch.
Oh,
probably what I would make.
Okay, now what's all on the sandwich though? Yeah, you got to describe the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, what bread?
Flatbread, like fancy, like grilled, like the grill marks on the flatbread.
Like a lavash kind of thing.
Yeah, and chicken, bacon, ranch, of course, and
now
spinach.
Now you say chicken, is it grilled chicken?
Spinach. I was going to say what kind of lettuce?
Grilled chicken, and it's like the cut up kinds, not the chicken breast. So it's like the little cut up pieces.
Okay.
And it's spinach and tomato and salt and pepper on the tomato.
Okay.
And a little bit of like oil and vinegar.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
With the ranch?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
I think that's it. I think that's like my perfect sandwich.
Dang.
There you go. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm hungry.
That's a good one.
All right. Yeah, I like it. All right. And and that was something we brought up in one of our Sunday planning sessions, which you could attend through Patreon.
Don't worry, Patsy, I'm going to get there. But yes.
And see, Patsy, it's funny because when my wife was on earlier, we brought this whole thing up. Patsy's going to want to know what we're having for dinner.
Chris is having KFC.
But no, I highly doubt that. We were like, we got to come up with like a question that's really going to be a tell-all for somebody. And Matt was like, well, everybody, has their favorite go-to sandwich. And we were like, ooh. And then ironically,
I think where credit's due, I believe that Real Weird Art.
That's right.
This is true. That's right.
And I said that's genius because, and then I reinforced.
So
Real
there.
Weird Arts.
But yeah, and it's true. I mean, you can really tell a person by the sandwich that they're eating.
And that's a good sandwich.
So what does that say about me? Anything specific? What does that say about me?
That's
well,
a
do you
good
roll it up?
healthy
Because it might say you
sandwich.
don't understand what a
Oh,
sandwich is.
here we go. No. And it has nothing to do with Star Wars. Don't open up the wormhole.
Here
Oh
we
yeah,
go.
Chris, we were
Oh,
doing so
no.
good.
Oh no.
No, I'm just teasing. It says that you enjoy tasty things.
Too.
Fresh, healthy. That's just a good sandwich.
Yeah.
The bacon. I'm like sitting here. I'm like totally thinking I need one of these sandwiches now.
I like the bacon is like a little indulgence, but
Mhm.
it's chicken. But ranch, because it's
I am your
good.
Because it's good.
I mean,
father. Just because ranch is good.
ranch is good on everything.
But see, she also
and-
has the olive and olive oil and vinegar on there. The
Yeah.
salt, just the salt and pepper on the tomato. Note she said
Yes.
that, and not lettuce, but spinach.
the spinach
Yes,
does
See?
it right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
I don't like
And-
iceberg. I'm a little lettuce bougie.
Oh yeah, no, I like green leaf. I'm with green leaf or something like spinach, stuff like
I'm
that.
into
So,
romaine lately, personally.
yeah, romaine, good. But I'm not a fan of iceberg lettuce. That's even though I know it's part of keto diets and stuff because it's just
I think iceberg
filling
has
in.
its place. Like
Yeah, as a decoration for
no, I shred it on
A
a
platter of
hamburger.
meat.
There's something. It's just
Yeah.
because it's
Okay,
holding
yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
holding in juice. It's not about any flavor or anything.
right.
It's just so that juice stays.
All
on
right,
the
Matt.
burger. Like
You've proven me
but-
wrong again.
but I just know my lettuce, so that's all. and Patsy, tonight's dinner is my wife right now is making cream cheese wontons that are baked. We used to deep fry them many years ago, but they're way better for you baked because they have cream cheese. So why deep fry them also? And then I'm going to cook up some salmon and rice.
Oh,
Nice.
so
Nice.
boom, there we go.
Nice.
I feel like we
I-
had salmon last week too, though.
Yes, you did.
Hmm.
I remember you talking about it.
We have rib cap steaks. Fine.
Fine. So, all right. Well, all right. Since we're throwing it out there, Bekah, what are you having for dinner?
Honestly, I don't have a husband who cooks, so probably nothing.
I'm gonna go make one of those
Look,
chicken.
okay, where do
wraps.
I
She's
get
like-
one? Where do I get one of those? How do I get a husband who cooks for me? Okay.
But you got to find one that worked in a restaurant for years and ruined
Yeah.
his back, and then decided like, oh, I'm going to quit working in restaurants and go work construction and ruin his back even more. And then
Okay.
he goes, "Hey, you know what? It's pretty cool.
She's
Just cooking and cleaning around the house.
And
so you're
where
never
is
gonna
this
find another
now?
me.
Where do I find one of
I'm
those?
sorry.
I don't know. I
I'm
don't
a one of
know.
a kind."
I don't know.
Well,
So,
all right.
dataretiredchef.com.
Yeah,
Is
there
that
you
a
go.
thing?
There you go.
Is that a thing? Because,
It's like,
look,
wait a minute.
No.
look, I
I'm writing that
could talk
down.
about like dating sites for another however many hours.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, Patsy Ann's here with
Yeah,
us.
we'll
I
so-
know.
we'll get,
I was on her thing
Yeah.
one time. That was fun. I got
I
off of all
have-
of those after that because I was like, you know what, this is just too much. They're all terrible.
Who do we
man.
have next week? Do we have a guest next week lined up?
Yeah, we've got Stipe Lozina, the
that's
author
right.
of the Fact-Based Fiction.
That's right.
Ooh.
Well, we
yeah,
could have
it's really
her
cool.
and Patsy
And he's a
back on
Christian.
to talk about the dating sites and whatnot.
Yep. And
That would be a
well,
fun
yeah, we
show.
gotta catfish that one dude. So you're gonna have to
Patsy
give us.
said that she was surprised that the ones that I was talking about were ones I actually met. The ones that I like, the bad experiences I had were ones I actually met, not ones that like were trying to catfish me that I never met.
Wow.
Oh wow, yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
see,
we
I
need
actually
to know more about that. So
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
stories for
we got- we
days.
got-
I
we
literally,
got-
I could write a book about those.
Yeah.
Oh, you and my
Where's your
wife.
second book?
My wife, I met her online, and it was so funny because we were basically at our wits' end, and we just said, you know what, if this doesn't work, this is it.
Yeah.
And I had changed mine up my my little profile. I was down to 4 different ladies, and I had changed my profile to say must put God first because I had a very short little description of what I was looking for. And once I put that, the other 3 backed out, and it was just down to her. And she was like,
I just
And
told the
she-
Lord, like, if he just needs to bring him to me, because I was like, I'm just done. And I just went off all dating sites, and I was like, because whoever I match with is probably not gonna be on a dating site either, because all these, I'm about to cuss. All these people are too much. I can't. I can't do it. Look, somebody told me the last date I went on, I ended up paying for dinner. Not only my dinner, but his dinner too. And then I ended up having to take him home because he didn't have a car.
What?
Listen, I can't make this stuff up. He didn't have a
No.
car. I'm like,
You
You didn't date me,
grown.
did you?
You are
Tell me it was his
grown.
parents'
How do
house.
you not have
Oh.
a car? No.
Episode 11.
He lived in a hotel. But his
Wow.
excuse after he got out of the car was, look, I have a six-pack. I don't care if you have a six-pack. I don't care how hot you are. I don't care if you're 6'4" and you're beautiful. I don't care what you look like.
You don't
I
even
don't
have
With
care.
permanent
long
housing.
flowing hair.
Come
You
on.
don't have a car. You do not have it. You are 35. Please stop. And then he told me, but don't worry, babe. The Holy Spirit told me you're going to be my wife. The devil is a liar.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Okay.
I just had to pay for Applebee's, bro. This is
Ugh.
Applebee's.
Right.
Okay, like
Wow.
you didn't even save money for Applebee's. You didn't take me to Ruth Chris. This is Applebee's, and I had to take you home. And then he tells me, "Do you want to come up to the room?" No, I do not.
No.
First of
No.
all,
I'm trying to get out of here as
He
fast
said-
as I
said
can,
it's
dude.
the
You're looking at
cleanest-
it and kick you out driving by.
he said it's the cleanest room in the hotel. Gross. Get out of my car. And then he's like, "But I got a six-pack."
Wow.
Way to
Yeah.
sell it,
I'm
dude.
gonna-
Oh my
I'm gonna kick,
god.
and then I can't even make this up. On my way out of the hotel, after I kicked him out of my car faster than anything, way out of the hotel, I had to call 911 because there was some guy with a needle in his arm. He had completely completely fallen asleep,
Oh,
nodded out
Oh
at,
So
his,
the
at
cleanest-
his thing. So I didn't have any Narcan in my car. I usually carry Narcan in my car.
wow.
I didn't have any Narcan in my car. I had to call 911 and wait for a police officer to come. And then he comes walking out and he's like, "Hey, babe, if you want me to hold your hand so that people don't think you're a prostitute, I can."
Oh my god.
I was like, "Excuse me?" He's like, "Oh, yeah."
So
Wow.
cleanest room in the hotel, that bar was really
He
low.
said,
Yeah.
they dress really fancy now. So if you don't hold hands, they think that you're a prostitute. So that's like the sign now to tell them that that this is your girl. If you don't hold hands, they're
Wow.
gonna think you're a prostitute. I was like, if you don't get out of my face, I'm about to murder you.
I'm gonna
what's
put
gonna
my
happen.
hands somewhere you don't
I'm
want
gonna
it,
put my
boy.
hands on you. Yeah. And then
Oh
he
my
texted me the next day and asked me for rent money for
gracious.
the week. He asked me to pay for his rent for the week.
Oh my
No,
Yeah, you're coming
wow.
back. You and
Yeah.
Patsy Ann are
Yeah,
gonna.
And
that
that's
we
not
need
even
that too.
the
horror
worst
stories.
story I have.
Oh
That's
my
not even the
Yeah.
worst
gosh.
Oh, I
story
want to
have.
hear them all.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
you
wanted
heard
to
it
go
here,
on
guys.
already.
Right on the
Yeah.
Random Christian show. We're
Great
gonna.
time.
Well, you heard it
Great
on
time.
Patsy's show as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta get you all on.
Wow.
This is well, you know what? And we'll bring my wife on because she's got some stories
Yes,
of some
let's
winners.
do it. Let's do it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Amazing.
Dating site terrors. There we
Yes.
go. All right. Well, listen, Bekah, I knew it was going to be awesome. I got a little scared for a little bit because we were having contact problems, but I know your child was sick. So I really,
was,
really
yeah.
appreciate you getting back with me. And I'm so glad we had you on. Bekah George, she's got sheervisioncoaching.com, SHEAR visioncoaching.com. Look her up. Life coach, wellness coach. Get a hold of this lady, guys. Anybody, just reach out to her. She will work with you. She'll help you out if you need it, or if you know somebody who needs some help, get with them. Pass this on, please. All right, Bekah. Really, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was an absolute pleasure. Loved hearing all you've done and all you've done well. Thank you so much, and I wish you
Thanks, Bekah.
so much success. Awesome, really. All right.
We are
yes.
following you on Instagram.
Oh, we have been following you.
Yeah.
We've on
Yeah.
Facebook and on Instagram. So yes,
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I try to add every new guest onto Instagram. That's my job,
yeah,
not Chris's.
no, yeah. Instagram is Matt. Wait, I can't. see where I am.
But I see, and I'm also a photographer, so I was like, oh, with our sandwich guy. Even though I had sandwiches 3 nights in a row and only took pictures of one, I was going to start posting things that are like relevant to our guests, but I don't know what's relevant to a life coach. So Sorry.
Well, just throw out some creepy dating pictures. I think.
Yeah,
that's-
and guys,
There we
pass
go.
that at hotels
And,
with
uh,
6-pack
yeah.
Just some
abs.
6-pack abs. Yeah, just some
Yeah,
six-pack
there you
abs.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Thank
Becca,
you so much for having me. I really appreciate
thank you so much for coming
Thanks,
on and
Becca.
taking the time. We truly, truly appreciate you, and we will have you back on. Get that book
Yes,
written,
I
and
will.
let's hear some more about it. Okay, Becca.
Yeah,
thank you,
awesome.
Thank you. So
ladies
nice
and
to meet you
gentlemen.
guys.
Becca
Thank you.
George. Becca George. Thank you so
Thanks.
much. Have a great, great
Bye.
night.
Awesome.
See you guys. I told you, awesome, absolutely awesome.
Yeah, she was
Ah,
great.
she's so great.
Nice.
Just absolutely loved her. All right, guys. Well, yeah, that's gonna really do it for us today. I mean, wow, man, that was some crazy stuff she was talking about too. Just some of the people she had to deal with in the prisons and whatnot.
Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, that's
Dude.
There's no way.
Um,
I didn't even care if the rapists and murderers and everything were repentant about what they did.
oh,
Still
dude,
stick
wouldn't you
up
want to just
for
reach
the-
across there and just punch him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No, it's.
a little more than punch. But,
Yeah. No, I know.
but,
Wow.
well, thank God there's people that can do that, though. I mean,
Yes, absolutely. And wow. And Patsy Ann, thank you so much. And Corey, everybody, all our earlier new guests that joined us, thank you so much for joining in. Again, if you're enjoying the show, please like, follow, subscribe, pass the word around to your friends, get them to join in. Check us out. We are on all the podcast sites: Google, Apple, Spotify, Bullhorn, Anchor. What's the new one? Oh yeah, Podbean, Good Pods. Wherever there's pretty much a
potted
Oh, and
on
yeah, and
Get
I'm
it, potty,
looking into
potty
Reddit.
talked.
Have you guys ever dealt with Reddit at all?
yeah.
They do
I
some
have.
live streaming, I guess, and
Yeah, they do. I mean, if we
I
need
don't
to
know.
be
Reddit's
there, if
really want to
if
get
we
into
need to be
that
there, I don't know
hellhole.
that we need to be there.
I don't know. I'm looking into venues and just trying to get us out there. But and we are working on a sponsor, by the way. Just FYI. My lovely daughter, I guess, is dinner ready? Is that what you're? Okay. So there's the official call to the end of the show. Plus, Matt's camera's probably about to die anyway. So
Right.
No, but
Um,
I got to go cook dinner. So
You gotta go
I
cook
got to
dinner.
go cook my part of the dinner.
and Andy's got to go eat his dinner soon here too. So
That's right. I'm cooking
Um,
as well. So
yes. All right. So next week we will have Stipe Lozina. We are working on getting Save Ferris. They've been responding to the emails. So
Awesome.
it'd be so
wish
so
us
cool if
luck
that
on
happens.
there. And John Feldman as well from Goldfinger, producer extraordinaire. Again, pass the word around. If you like the show, check out our website, therandomchristianshow.com, and contribute a little bit and join us on Sundays. We'll yeah. I don't even know why I'm here. I
Boom.
should just let her do the show. Anyway, so
The promotion,
do I?
Yeah. Yep.
like the intro and outro, just have her do it.
Yep, I know. I like I said, I'm not even sure why I'm here anymore. But guys, again, thank you so much for joining in with us, and I appreciate it. You got Rum and Regret coming up this week.
Yeah, we record tonight, and we don't. We're throwing it TRKS style. We have a loose topic tonight, but we're nothing hard. So
Oh,
we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it pretty random tonight. So
oh.
yeah, but that will drop on Friday.
Well, and I have now a suggestion how we were going to be on that show with you doing
Yeah, but,
Repo Man. But how
Mhm.
about we do only murders in the building? Like once it's all done,
Dude, that's
say
not a
we-
bad idea.
I say we talk about that.
That would be great. We're caught up on that too, and that's just it gets better and better every week.
Yeah, now don't spoil for me because I'm not caught up on the last few episodes, so don't.
Oh,
I'm
no
just-
worries
I'm just
because
saying-
I'm doling it out.
Okay.
Slowly.
Oh, are you?
An episode tonight. Oh, I don't want to. I binge watch way too much stuff, and this is a show that I want to savor. I want to.
Yeah. See, I don't get to binge watch, so this is like my private, happy. I get to watch TV time on the weekends. So
Awesome.
There's an
me
epic
and the wife watch it together.
cameo. There's an epic cameo in there. And you,
Don't-
yeah, Matt, you're probably there. But
There's a-
I-
but then-
oh, man.
there's a-
I'm only, we're like on episode 3, I think.
Guess what I got over
That's-
here?
So
That's
yeah,
what
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Oh, Chris,
it-
when you see it, you'll be like, what?
it gets better. He has another scene in the next episode
Oh, good.
that is
Oh,
amazing.
oh, dude. Oh,
Chris, you're gonna love it.
I
You're
gotta-
gonna love it.
Catch up, Chris. Catch up.
Well,
It's like a TV show.
listen. I'm working 6 days a week right now, so I don't get a
Sucker.
whole lot of that.
Dude.
But
I
okay,
I work just as much.
we're on episode 7. Yeah. So,
So you should know already who the.
You've seen it. You've seen the epic cameo.
who?
Ouch.
Should I just say it?
What?
Ouch. I just got.
Oh, Sting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. He's been in there from the early on though.
Yeah, episode 3. He started. In
Yeah.
episode 3.
Okay.
Which is where
I
I'm
thought this
at.
was something new. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no,
My bad.
I was trying to be vague enough because I wanted to see where Matt was.
And
all.
Sting is like my wife's favorite. What is that? I can't tell what that little icon is.
It's
palm.
a head slap. Yeah, it's like
Oh.
a face palm.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's the cue. So, gentlemen, I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you so much for jumping in with us again. Guys, I can't do this without you, and I love having you on here. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And to everybody listening and watching, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please like, follow, and subscribe. We can't do this without you. I mean, we can, but it's funner when you're here. So make sure you join in the chat as well. Okay? In the meantime, be good to each other. Take care of each other. We're what we've got out here. We need your help, so help each other out, right? All right,
Right.
kids. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we will talk to you next week with Stipe Lozina, author of fact-based fiction. All right. Peace out, guys. Have a great, great week. Talk to you next
I
week.
just want to say, Patsy, it's all right. You